ESPN 105.9 The Zone.
Hey, what's happening? Now let's go. Shifter down into fourth. Pedal to the metal. Welcome back. I'm Matt in the Bureau, the Farm Bureau Insurance Studio. Farm Bureau, go! With the home team. They are your home team at Farm Bureau Insurance across the great state of Mississippi. Your hometown heroes, that's your local Farm Bureau insurance agents. Here I am back in the Bureau, the original Bureau, Farm Bureau Studio, back in the great state of Mississippi. My feet are on Mississippi soil, sort of. I mean, I'm on a second floor, but you know what I mean. Yeah, I'm not in Hoover. I really enjoyed being on the air with you all the last 3 days, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, from Hoover, live from the Hoover Met. Now, games are going on. Where's my remote? Where's the remote control? I got a remote control in here. Here it is for a TV so that I can turn the games on. I meant to have already done that and hadn't done it, so I'll do that. But here's the thing about it, okay? If you were listening yesterday, you know that Bill and I sort of had like a production meeting on the air live during the show because I was on the air yesterday with you live from the Hoover Met. You had 4 games going on, you know. State got eliminated. Ole Miss was going to play later and all this kind of stuff. And I was looking at it and I went, wait a minute. It says here that on Friday of the SEC baseball tournament, there's only 2 games, and the first one does not start until 4 p.m. Eastern, 3 Central. Well, I get off the air at 3 Central. There won't be anybody there hardly between 12 and 3. What's the point? So last night, I left Hoover, headed west, pointed towards Tupelo, Mississippi, thinking, you know, I need to be home to do the show because there won't be any baseball going on Friday at the time I'll be on the air. I boogie it on home. Get home. Homecoming Queen's waiting on me. We had supper together, and then I get a notification on the SEC app that we have for media stuff on my phone. It went bloop, and I went, what is this? And I opened it. It says, due to expected weather on Friday, our games for the SEC tournament have been moved up. And so, yeah, they did. I was in the door at my house in Tupelo, Mississippi, 2 hours from Hoover when I got the update that today they were moving the start times up. Game 1, which is Alabama-Tennessee, started at 10 a.m., and then Game 2, which is Ole Miss versus Vanderbilt, starts 35 minutes after this one finishes. So, yeah, baseball would have been going on. It would have been great to have been there, but I was already home at the time they made the change on the game times. And so I was not – I'm sorry, y'all. I hope you understand. I was not turning around and going back to Hoover. I just wasn't. You know, maybe a real pro would have. I hope nobody blames me for that. Bill, you think I got pretty good reasoning there, pretty good story?
Oh, yeah. I mean, you didn't have any idea.
I had no idea.
Yeah, you can't fool with Mother Nature.
And I'll be honest, you know.
I kind of miss the noise in the background, though.
I do, too. I kind of miss it. Well, and I will tell you, if it was like a 1-hour drive, I might have been tempted to turn around and go back over there. Or maybe go this morning. But 2 hours, 2.5, it's just I couldn't make myself redo the whole thing.
And you'd have been hitting Birmingham around all that traffic time and everything.
That's it. If I left this morning, if I tried to go this morning, and like my daughter was like, "Daddy, you're home. I missed you." And once you have that reunion and a hug, how are you going to tell them, "Oh, I'm going back"? I mean, I just couldn't do it. So here I am. And maybe it's a good thing. We got plenty of actually even some breaking news around the sports world, including the sports, the baseball world. All of that. So I'm back in the Bureau with Cowboy Bill, Uncle Bill, Wild Bill, or just Bill. Or Billy, or is it William? What's the lady in the office calls you what? Billy?
Well, my name is Billy.
Right. So she calls you Billy.
She calls me Billy. She's the only one that does. Everybody else calls me Bill or Uncle Bill. Or
yeah.
Well, Beaver doesn't like it when other people call me Uncle Bill.
Oh, why?
Because he's the one that always calls me that, and then everybody else is trying to take it away from me.
So Beaver,
he's my Uncle Bill.
So Beaver kind of wants to claim that since he said it first. I guess that's okay.
Yeah, he hates it when Chris says it because I'll walk in and Chris sometimes will say it when I walk in the control room and Beaver says, "Wait a minute, hold on. You know you're not supposed to say that."
Beaver's so funny. He said something really funny towards the end of their show about people making a big deal out of beignets in New Orleans. You have to go back and listen to the way he described it. It was a little teeny tiny rant, but it was actually really funny. Okay, so we are off and running, and it is a Friday. It's a Friday show. There's plenty to get to. You have elimination baseball going on today in the SEC tournament. Looks like Tennessee is going to eliminate Alabama. It's 11-0 right now. Tennessee leading the Tide elimination game, so Tennessee will move on. And then coming up this afternoon, we're going to get Ole Miss and Vanderbilt. It'll be an Ole Miss and Vanderbilt version 5.0 this season. Be their fifth game against each other. They're split 2-2 right now. Ole Miss won 2 games against Vandy and Oxford. Vandy picked up 1 game in Oxford and 1 game in Hoover, trying to get another one. So this is like the tiebreaker, and it's going to send one of these teams home from the SEC tournament. All of our eyes are going to turn towards seeding and all that kind of stuff. And projections are out as of today. So state fans, listen. Both D1 Baseball and Baseball America have their latest projections of the 16 host sites, the top 8 seeds, and the whole tournament field. And they came out today after state's embarrassing losses in Hoover. Now, they aren't the committee. They are not going to decide. These are not going to be 100% accurate, okay? I'm just going to give you what people are saying about State and Ole Miss and Southern Miss hosting as of today. Okay, I'll give you all of that information. First, though, I want to invite you to be a part of the show, and I really hope you will be. Hi to everybody on the live stream. Getting your comments coming in already on Facebook and YouTube. Jonathan and Sven and Dave. Hey to y'all. Everybody on the text line. We got those coming in already on the Country Pleasing text line, Country Pleasing Sausage on grocery store shelves throughout the Southeast. If you want to text me, that'd be great. 885-ESPN. It is a 601 number, 885-ESPN, or 885-3776. So text the show, save it in your phone. Call it the text line, the Country Pleasing text line. You'll know that's us. So True Maroon and Hog Jowl, Hunter Grand, Jason, coming to y'all's text. And also, you can call me on the Davini phone. Davini Equipment in Madison and in Jackson. Your Kubota dealer. It is a 995-1059. There's a number. It's a 601 number. 995-1059. Give me a call. Let's talk it up. What do you think? Now, I'll be honest with you. When we were about 5 minutes from this show starting, just a little bit ago, I planned on just filling your head full of this information, the projections, where they say, you know, who's hosting in the postseason in baseball and who's going to be a national seed as of this morning and is State still in there and who's in the field. And, you know, that's what I planned on doing here to start the show. But that's not what I'm going to do. I'm going to give you some potentially, well, it is breaking news. Paul Mainieri at LSU is announcing his retirement. Head baseball coach at LSU, Paul Mainieri, 12 seasons as the head coach at LSU, announcing his retirement. LSU baseball is looking for a new head coach, along with Texas A&M. 2 openings in the SEC. Who's up for it? Who isn't? Now, there's a teeny tiny bit more to the story. If I'm looking at some of the reports, here is one from Wilson Alexander at The Advocate, covers LSU baseball. I said 12 seasons. I'm wrong. It's actually 15 seasons. Paul Mainieri announcing his retirement today after 15 seasons as the LSU baseball coach. Here's what he says in this report. I want to give you some of these details, and then we can also go forward later and talk about, you know, who may be the next LSU coach. But it is a big deal because it directly affects State and Ole Miss, no question. Mainieri held a team meeting this morning, and then the announcement expected soon after. LSU is holding a press conference this afternoon at 4:30. And so assuming it'll be to announce that and say, we're going to have a nationwide search and those kinds of things, you would imagine that's what they are doing. A couple of high points during his tenure at LSU. They won the 2009 College World Series. As the head coach there, he's been to the College World Series 5 times. They won the regular season in the SEC 4 times. And they won the conference tournament in Hoover 6 times in those 15 years. And, that's what you know about LSU baseball under Paul Mainieri, is it just felt like they owned Hoover there for a little while. And that conference tournament that we're, finishing up and having here this week. By the way, it is over. Tennessee just beat Alabama 11-0. So Alabama's conference tournament run is done. Most people out there are projecting Alabama actually in the tournament, in the NCAA tournament. This is an 11-0 shutout win. Tennessee out hit Alabama 11-2 in the game. And let's see, anything else? 1,501 wins for Paul Mainieri, so it means he's going to retire as the active winningest coach in Division I baseball. Now, there were others reporting that there's a health issue. I don't know if that's a rumor or what. I didn't read every word of every report out there. I just saw some people tweeting, something about some sort of health issue. But when you read through reports, you don't actually see anything about that. Here's one from Glenn Gilbo, and Glenn's been covering LSU forever. The headline of his at the Advertiser down there in Louisiana, the Lafayette Daily Advertiser, Gilbo says LSU baseball coach Paul Mainieri to retire because of health issues. Florida's Kevin O'Sullivan is targeted. LSU baseball coach Paul Mainieri expected to announce his retirement. Sources requested anonymity because no official announcement has been made yet. LSU AD Scott Woodward did not return a call. That is as of this morning, and he noted that they are planning a 4:30 press conference. Mainieri is 63 years old. Is expected to remain at LSU in a fundraising capacity in the athletic department. He is actually under contract through 2024 at approximately $1.1 million a year. And then it does note, Mainieri has had health issues this season and at times has been in major pain with migraine headaches and neck issues, it says. Among the candidates LSU is considering to replace Mainieri is Florida coach Kevin O'Sullivan. So they point that out. Of course, O'Sullivan is still coaching Florida in the SEC tournament. They're still alive and in the winner's bracket. And so you're going to hear a lot of talk about that as you watch that game or tune into the SEC network and, these tournament games going forward. So that's the first thing right out of the gate I wanted to drop in your lap. Now, Kevin O'Sullivan, again, it's rumored. That's 2 reports that directly tie his name to the LSU job. You'll remember that 2 days ago on Wednesday on this show live from Hoover, Steve Robertson from 24/7 Sports Gene's page, we kind of kicked around several things. We were recapping games or whatever. He sat down with me live in the press box at the Hoover Met. And at one point I asked him, I said, you've got this opening at Texas A&M, others expected to be, and the question was in regards to state assistants. Scott Foxhall and Jake Gautreaux. He said, I don't think these openings directly affect Mississippi State. You could hear those names. They're going to be maybe tied to others as they happen. But he began to talk about Tony Vitello, the head coach at Tennessee. So I wanted to take you back to that and listen to what Steve said about Vitello and the fact that he's actually number 1 on everybody's list.
Tony Vitello from Tennessee, who's obviously really busy right now. Yeah. He is the guy. I would compare it when Urban Meyer was coming out of, I guess it was Bowling Green. That's what I would kind of compare it to. Okay. Now, granted, Tennessee's a better baseball program than Bowling Green is a football program. Or I guess it was Utah. Yeah, it was Utah. Right. Yeah, but when Urban was that guy, everybody's like, oh, he's mentioned for – that's Tony. Okay. And Tony is such a unique guy. He drives a Lamborghini. He's single. He is a recruiting machine. And so, there's talk that, Paul Mainieri may retire at LSU this year. and I think him going to LSU would be a disaster for everybody else in the SEC West. But, yeah, I mean, and fans need to understand, too, the job that Scott Foxhall and Jet Gotro have done at Mississippi State, they are going to be mentioned in connection with jobs. I mean, they're going to take them, but there's a possibility that State could have to replace both assistants this year. I mean, that's just kind of the reality. When you're doing a good job, people want a piece of that. And so fans need to understand, nobody's picking on Mississippi State. It's just your guys have kind of graduated to the point that they're head coaching candidates.
So that was Steve's answer to that question, and this is back on Wednesday, and he, like a lot of others, had already heard the rumors, seen the smoke of the possibility of a pulmonary retirement at LSU. We were talking about A&M. He said Tony Vitello is going to be at the top of everybody's list. He did not mention Kevin O'Sullivan, at Florida, but these reports coming out of Baton Rouge and out of Louisiana directly connect Kevin O'Sullivan to the LSU job. So, what do you think? There it is, and I'll get into some of your thoughts from there. First up on the Country Pleasin' text line. Country Pleasin' sausage on grocery store shelves throughout the Southeast, but even more so and more important, it's in my fridge. And after 4 days away from home, is that 4 days? Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. 3 days away from home of eating other types of things and stuff for breakfast, it was mighty fine to wake up at my house and open my fridge and take out some of my stash of Country Pleasin' sausage and chop it up with my knife and throw it in my frying pan and put it on my plate and sit down at my table with my coffee and have my breakfast. It was mighty nice this morning. I highly recommend it. Lynn texted the show and he says, so does LSU go after Bianco, the Tennessee head coach, or elsewhere? I think Bianco would make sense for them. So, do you agree? Do y'all agree? Are the reports and, the first name Kevin O'Sullivan, is that jumping the gun a little bit? And does Bianco, a former LSU player who built the Ole Miss program from scratch over the course of 20 years, from metal bleachers and having to walk down the street to go to the bathroom to, 11, 12,000 a ball game at times, and one of the finest facilities and a top 5 program. Does he make more sense for LSU right now? Oh, by the way, his son plays for him. Or is it O'Sullivan? Or is it Tony Vitello? Do you look at what he's done at Tennessee? You're talking top 4, top 5 national seed at the University of Tennessee. Tennessee is, they're more of a basketball school than they are a baseball school. They've never been a baseball anything. And look at where he's got them. And you heard what Steve said. He's going to be on top of everybody's list. So, you just have to think about those questions. Those are fair questions until you get any sort of firm report from anybody. Unnamed texter said, if Florida starts to look for a baseball coach, will a certain AD look towards Starkville to fill the position? I don't know. I do not know. We talking about Lamonis? Go to Florida? Mansplain on the Country Pleasin' text says, O'Sullivan already has a national championship. Plus, he says Gainesville is greater than Baton Rouge times 10, huh? What do you mean, in terms of just living there? Is that what you mean? It's like in terms of a place to live? Is that what we're talking about? And real quick on the Country Pleasin' text line, earlier I got a text from Hogjow. Man, was that a game last night or what? And he says, when you need help, call the cops. Kopps. Yeah, Kevin Kopps is just, he's unhittable, man. He is just unhittable this year for Arkansas. But they are so good. So good. 2-run win last night. Low-scoring game overall over Vanderbilt. Sent Vandy to the loser's bracket. $100,000. When we come back in just a bit, music's about to start in a minute, but I will come back in a bit, and I'll hit you up right there. And Jason, I'll get to your text also. Jonathan on Facebook said, rumor in Baton Rouge, O'Sullivan, but I would think Bianco would be in the conversation. I'm the same way. I mean, unless they've completely and utterly already made their mind up, which could be the case, but if they haven't, it means they're going to have interviews, right, Jonathan? So they're going to interview Mike Bianco. They're going to. If he wants to have an interview with LSU, he will have one. Let's put it that way. Too good of a career and too good of a resume, too good of a coach, too many, recruiting ties. And they've got more to work with in recruiting at LSU than Mike has ever had at Ole Miss. So, I mean, if they're opening it up and actually going to conduct interviews and do a search, if Bianco wants an interview, he'll get an interview. Let's put it that way. And then Junior brought up the Louisiana Tech coach. So you're talking about Lane Burroughs, who has he's had La Tech in the hosting conversation this year and has some really nice wins. They beat Arkansas, they beat Ole Miss, and they're a really good baseball team. So you never know. You never know. All right. More of your comments, more of your texts. We'll continue this conversation as we get going here on this Friday. You are between games in Hoover. Tennessee moves on, eliminates Alabama. Up next is Ole Miss Vandy. That's coming up. But what does it say in these projections, these hosting projections? We'll get to those too. Just getting started with you on a Friday. Stick around.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
For double enjoyment, reach for Beech Nut Peppermint Gum. It sparkles your smile, your breath, your whole sense of enjoyment. Beech Nut Peppermint in the familiar yellow pack.
Jeans do come true. Blue Delta Jeans makes the best fitting, most comfortable jeans in the world. Let's dive in and see what we have here. Do what I did. Visit BlueDeltaJeans.com. Find your fit. Just for my listeners, enter discount code Matt Wyatt. Just answer the questions. BlueDeltaJeans.com. Answer the questions. Use this code. Use the code. You're going to get a discount. They are the most comfortable jeans I've ever worn.
Farm Bureau Insurance stands ready to provide financial relief to our communities in this time of crisis. This includes a one-time credit to all personal auto policyholders, a donation of $500,000 to the Mississippi Food Network, and additional payment options for those hit the hardest, all while continuing to service customer claims as well. But this is the time to go above and beyond. These are a few ways we're keeping the Farm Bureau promise. To learn more, talk to your agent or visit us online. Go with the home team.
Hey, y'all, let me tell you a little bit about C Spire. New stuff in 2021, including 5G coverage. If you go to their website right now, cspire.com, you're going to see their no bull, which, by the way, I love the Super Bowl ad with the slow motion bull. You're going to see that on the website. But look, they're right. There's been a lot of bull over the years in your wireless bill, depending on if who you were with. And my experience with C Spire is just like they say, there's no bull. I know what it's going to cost me each month. I know what my coverage is the number one coverage in Mississippi, period, the number one network. And they've got 5G phones that are 5G ready. Now, I have the new iPhone 12 Pro Max, got it at C Spire, went and did curbside at my local C Spire location and did the exchange where I traded in my old one, got the new one, and it's 5G capable. And we've got 5G coverage in parts of Mississippi, and it's just growing by the day. So you really ought to check that out, okay? And in terms of the new phones, you got deals going on those as well. Find those out at cspire.com. C Spire, customer inspired.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Every farmer understands their farm can't thrive without some good partners like sun, soil, and rain. And farmers in North Mississippi also rely on another important partner, Mississippi Land Bank, because land and farm financing are Mississippi Land Bank's primary focus. We've grown alongside these farmers' crops for more than 100 years. We understand what a farmer needs, and we know the lay of the land in North Mississippi, and that's where I stand.
A lot of people in the equipment world, things kind of go in trends, I guess, if you want to say it. So kind of the first big thing that we look at when we start evaluating our business is going to be our turf equipment. That's kind of the first big push, because once everything, the water dries up and the grass starts growing, this is what everybody's looking to get. We carry the new Wright stand-up mower. Doesn't look like much, but this thing is, and it costs just as much as zero turn. Not a cheap unit at all. I mean, if you go out there and look at that zero turn, this thing right here, I mean, it's got all your components from your big pumps to your commercial engine to your large steel deck. And these guys were the first ones to make the standard mower.
Better buy Bird's Eye. Better buy, better buy, better buy Bird's Eye.
Yes, always look for this Bird's Eye Bird, your guarantee of top quality frozen food. And your big Bird's Eye buy this week is Bird's Eye Orange Juice. Easy, you can serve it in a minute. Thrifty, it will save you money.
It's the Matt Wyatt Show on 105.9 The Zone and worldwide online at thezone1059.com.
All right, here we go. Welcome back. In the Bureau, the Farm Bureau Insurance Studio, Farm Bureau, go! With the home team, they are your home team at Farm Bureau Insurance. Staying connected to you here because of C Spire, the #1 network in Mississippi. C Spire, customer inspired. That's C Spire. Check out the latest at cspire.com. Paul Maneri retiring at LSU. Plenty to take a look at there. I mean, and just basically, I mean, he's had a great career. 15 years, a national title, handful of regular season titles in the SEC, and 6 out of the 15 years, he's won 6 SEC tournament titles. I mean, that's a heck of a deal. Going to stay on at LSU. He's under contract through 2024. He's going to stay on there in a fundraising capacity. I wonder if he would do that if he weren't under contract. It's like, look, if we're going to be paying you, this at least help us raise more money, to help pay you. I mean, right? Or is it no? I mean, I guess if he's retiring, he's retiring. So what is it, just contract work? Make some appearances and show up at a few things and talk to some alumni and court a few of your former players who are in the majors. Maybe that's what it is. Help to add on and update the locker room, some things like that, I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure that's what it was. No, the text I got earlier on the Country Pleasing text line from 100 Grand was this. It says, Matt, I just got back into town, just got back from Atlanta. Let's start the show off right. It's Friday. You know what I need. I certainly do, 100 Grand, and here you go. The JSU Sonic Boom in high def, in hi-fi. You young whippersnappers don't even know what a hi-fi is. I barely do, but I sort of do. My mom and dad used to have one. Turn it up. Yeah, the JSU Sonic Boom inject a little life into anything. I will go ahead and kind of let the cat out of the bag, too. We're starting the countdown of 100 teams in 100 days, counting down 100 days into the college football season. That's coming up. You. Now, I will say, too, that we sort of missed it. Yesterday was 100. All right. So today, we're actually starting the countdown today, which will be team number, let me get this right. It'll be team number 100 and then team 99. And we're going to do team 98 as well, because we will be out on Monday for Memorial Day and come back Tuesday, pick up 3 teams there and be caught up. So a bunch of teams to start off the countdown of 100 teams in 100 days. You know what? And dadgummit, on that note, since I just went ahead and said it, let's just go ahead and do it. The first one of the year, college football countdown of 100 teams in 100 days. Team number 100, this may be the best fight song that you will hear in all 100 days of this countdown. For team number 100, the Wyoming Cowboys. Tell me that's not great. Okay, here's what I want you to know about their fight song real quick. All right, the name of the song, it's a former, pop song, hit song. All right, called Cowboy Joe. The lyrics are, he always sings raggy music to his cattle as he swings back and forth in the saddle. On a horse, he's a syncopated gator. You ought to hear the meter to the roar of his repeater. Ragtime Cowboy Joe. Yes, sir, that's it. Now, I got a real treat for you, Bill. I wonder if you've ever heard this. Have you ever heard the song Ragtime Cowboy Joe?
Yeah, I've heard it before, yeah.
I think it is.
You got the actual song now?
I have the actual song, and it is fantastic. So, again, the Wyoming Cowboys, team number 100 on the countdown, they took their fight song from the original, Ragtime Cowboy Joe song. And here it is.
He always sings raggedy music to the cattle as he swings back and forward in his saddle on a horse that is syncopated, gated. There is such a funny meter to the roar of his repeater.
How outstanding is that?
The fella's gone because the western folks all know.
Sing along.
He's a highfalutin, rootin' tootin' son of a gun from Arizona, Ragtime Cowboy Joe. He always sings.
All right, so they obviously changed the words. They don't say Arizona. But, Bill, that's the original song.
That is it.
He's a highfalutin, rootin' tootin' son of a gun from old Wyoming, Ragtime Cowboy.
Was that like the 40s when they originally did that?
Yes, I believe it was.
Yeah, I think so.
He's a highfalutin, rootin' tootin' son of a gun from Arizona, Ragtime Cowboy Joe.
All right, so that's their fight song. Wyoming. Let's see, they play anybody of note this year? They do play Air Force, play Boise State this year. They're in that conference out there, Mountain West, right? So what did they do last year? Did they even play? Did Wyoming get to even play football in 2020? They did. They played 6 games. They had 8 scheduled, had 2 canceled. They lost an overtime game. Nevada beat Hawaii, lost to Colorado State by 10. They beat UNLV and finished the year in back-to-back losses to New Mexico and Boise State, 17-9. So they just had an abbreviated season last year. And then this year, a full one's going to be Montana State, Northern Illinois, Ball State.
Ragtime Cowboy, talk about your cowboy, Ragtime Cowboy Joe.
And let's see. They'll finish September on the road at Yukon. They start October at Air Force. They get a couple of home games in Wyoming, Fresno State, New Mexico. Finish October at San Jose State. Those are conference games. And then their November schedule for Wyoming is home against Colorado State, back-to-back on the road, Boise State, Utah State. That's tough. And they'll finish by hosting Hawaii on Thanksgiving weekend. Wyoming, when I think of Wyoming football, I think of 2 things. Okay, one is the quarterback of the Buffalo Bills, Josh Allen. He played there at Wyoming. And 2 is I remember Ole Miss making a trip to Wyoming to play a football game out there when David Cutcliffe was the head coach. They went out there and got beat. It's one of those things like you're traveling in the middle of nowhere. You don't know where you are. Nobody's ever been there. Hey, they don't have a whole lot of fans. You think you're just going to kind of walk in there, and then you get there, and it turns out they're pretty good. They've had a pretty competitive team over the years. But anyway, that'll start us off. Team number 100 on the countdown of 100 teams in 100 days. Now, today we are actually 99, and so I've got another team coming up for you later in the show. We will go ahead and cover 98, which would be tomorrow, but we don't have a show on the weekend. And so 3 teams in today's show. By the time we get back on Tuesday, we'll have some more teams to catch up and kind of make our way into the countdown that way. it's a fun way to learn a little bit of something here and there about some of the teams around the country. And, you and I together sort of feel a little bit educated, I guess, when we see games on TV that don't involve the ones that we just follow ourselves. Okay, so that's what we'll do. Hey, back to your comments. Let's see, on Facebook, watching live today, Sam said, Matt, Uneven is fantastic. Thank you very much. The Uneven documentary about the scholarship situation in college baseball, y'all can watch it several different ways. Go to unevenbaseball.com. Check it out if you haven't already. It's on YouTube. And we also posted the entire video where you can just watch it on Facebook. You can share it there, too, because some people just prefer to watch things there, so you can get it how you want it. Go to my Facebook page, facebook.com/Radio Wyatt. Or just look me up on Facebook. You'll see it. But you can watch the whole thing. Sam said, I read a post where a guy said that Vanderbilt athletes are not actually regular Vanderbilt students. They are a part of another academic program affiliated with Vanderbilt. Did you ever hear that? If so, how is that even legal or within NCAA guidelines? Well, it's a very deep subject. Kind of like trying to figure out why baseball has 11.7. It's another one where, I think it's deep and twisted, and Vandy's not the only school in the country that has, I don't even know what you would call it, sort of, like an alternate curriculum, an alternate just channel that, where students are a part of the overall university. It's not quite the same, but you could compare it similarly to, like, if you watch the movie Rudy, and, he's kind of sort of getting hooked up at Notre Dame, but they got him across the street going to JUCO or whatever it was, and those classes are going to kind of flow him right into Notre Dame. It's similar but different, I guess. But that's certainly a subject, I guess, if, worth looking into. For me personally, Sam, it's like, all these schools are reputable academically, and Vandy's academic reputation obviously speaks for itself, and it is so difficult academically at its highest levels that if that's what they went by, they wouldn't field many athletics teams, I'll be honest with you, let alone competitive ones. And so I don't think anybody's really mad at them for having a way to sort of be a little more robust. But that's part of it. Y'all stick around.
There's a lot of noise when it comes to 5G.
We're 5G ready.
We're 5G-ish.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Arrived today. Jeans do come true. Thank you, Blue Delta. Yeah, jeans do come true. That's what the bag says. Blue Delta Jeans makes the best fitting, most comfortable jeans in the world because they are uniquely made for you and only you. Raw denim jeans, custom fit, hand-tailored in Tupelo, Mississippi, my hometown. Let's dive in and see what we have here. Do what I did. Visit BlueDeltaJeans.com. Find your fit, design a jean, and before you know it, you'll be addicted. Just for my listeners, enter discount code Matt Wyatt, all lowercase. Again, that's if you listen to me, you can use discount code Matt Wyatt, all lowercase, and at checkout, you're going to get a 10% discount off your order. So I just went online, ordered them, BlueDeltaJeans.com a couple weeks ago. Went in, I didn't go get measured. I just entered, what I knew about myself. I just answered the questions, and here they are at my doorstep a couple weeks later. Nice. Yeah, Blue Delta. Nice. I'm happy. I've known the Blue Delta team for years, and I'm thrilled to have these guys on as a sponsor of this show. Blue Delta's Virtual Tailor is a fun and easy way to get yourself into the best fitting pair of jeans you're ever going to own. Bet you never thought you'd get a butt shot out of me, huh? How about that? Just answer the questions and they fit absolutely perfectly. They couldn't fit better. So just go online, BlueDeltaJeans.com, answer the questions. It's amazing how they do it. They will fit perfectly. You're not going to find better material and better feeling pants, period, anywhere. BlueDeltaJeans.com. Use this code
Use the code. You're going to get a discount. They are the most comfortable jeans I've ever worn. I promise you that. And I know that you are going to love them too. Make sure you use the code. And remember, jeans do come true.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Let me tell you about an ice cream can't be beat.
The very best tasting you can eat.
It's Meadow, 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 Meadow Smooth Freeze Meadow Gold. Go to your ice cream man today, and here's the word that you should say. Oh, give me Meadow, Meadow, Meadow Smooth Freeze Meadow Gold. And remember, folks, Meadow Gold
Is mighty good.
For double enjoyment, reach for Beech Nut Peppermint Gum. It sparkles your smile, your breath, your whole sense of enjoyment. Beech Nut Peppermint in the familiar yellow pack.
6 o'clock, dinner time. Thank goodness for Jell-O instant pudding.
Yes, thank goodness for Jell-O Instant Pudding. The terrific busy day dessert you can make at the very last minute. See how quick and easy. Just add it to cold milk and beat it up. That's all. By the time you're ready to eat it, it's all ready for you. Jell-O Instant Pudding, made by the famous Jell-O folks. So creamy, so nourishing, so delicious. No other instant pudding is quite the same. Stock your shelves with all 7 flavors. The good, busy day dessert. Jell-O Instant Pudding.
Right now. You got the Matt Wyatt Show on 105.9 The Zone and online at thezone1059.com.
Back with you. Live in the Bureau, the Farm Bureau Insurance Studio. Farm Bureau, go with the home team. They are your home team. At Farm Bureau Insurance, your hometown heroes, your local Farm Bureau Insurance agents. Staying connected to you here because of C Spire, the #1 network in Mississippi. C Spire, customer inspired. Thank goodness for wireless connections like the one we have right now on the Davini phone so we can talk to people. Earlier this week, we just sat down, put headsets on, but I'm not in Hoover anymore. But thank goodness, Parrish Alford is. Parrish Alford covers Ole Miss for the Northeast Mississippi Daily Journal. We're in between games right now. He's getting ready for Ole Miss Vandy 2.0 of Hoover. Hey, Parrish, I feel like we've seen this before. What do you think?
We've seen it many times before. It's going to be a big challenge for Ole Miss, though, because when we've seen it before, they've had some of their better pitching going in this game. But now they're kind of reaching down with a middle reliever, Tyler Myers, and I'm sure they'll try to piece it together. And piecing it together is not a great plan against a team like Vanderbilt. So
Sure.
We'll see.
We're just a little over 12 minutes away from start time. Mike Bianco is giving a speech to his team right now on the surface and getting ready to face Vandy. Hey, but I wanted to ask you about another team real quick in the conference, Parrish. We got the news this morning of Paul Maneri retiring at LSU. Lots of people mentioning Kevin O'Sullivan at Florida as a replacement. You think Bianco is a candidate for that job?
I don't think Mike Bianco is a candidate. I think that they will go after somebody who has been to the College World Series multiple times. Now, whether they get that candidate, I don't know. And, whether or not they need to drop down and reorganize their search, their plan, maybe at that level, Mike Bianco would become a candidate. Maybe so. I don't think he's a candidate right now. I think, they're going to try to make a big splash. You're not going to look at whoever they hire and say, who is this guy?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, you're certainly right about that. And, Parrish, I couldn't help but wonder. I mean, Mike's been at Ole Miss for 20 years, and heck, he may just want to retire in Oxford, which you could understand,
Yeah, here's the thing, Matt, about coaches and alma maters and all of that. I went to school at Northeast Louisiana in Monroe. It's a special place to me. Okay, but nobody that I know there, or nobody that I know from there, is on campus now.
Yeah,
that was a special place at a time, but then you go off and you work in other places, and you build relationships at other places, and you create other memories. That's what these coaches do when they go off and work in other jobs. It's they're building relationships where they are. It's not a given that all of them would want to go back to their alma mater. I think a lot of people think, oh well, that would be something that would be very that he'd be very interested in or very desirable for any coach. I don't know that that's always the case, especially in the case of a guy like Mike Bianco, who has been in one place. I mean, he's not been building relationships at 2 and 3 other jobs. He's been in one place where all his children have grown up and gone through the local school system. I mean, I don't know that it's a given that he would be very interested in that job.
Yeah. Parrish Alford on your radio right now, live from Hoover. He's getting ready to cover Ole Miss Vanderbilt. Second time they'll play each other in Hoover this week. Yeah, and, I think, too, it's one of those things, too, Parrish, where when you have 2 major outlets both go ahead and mention Kevin O'Sullivan's name, you're in that world, that media world. That's usually a pretty good indication that they are hearing that from some strong sources, right?
Right. They're not throwing that out there by themselves.
Right.
I mean, it's somebody has leaked that to them.
Sure.
That's how that works. Now, would Kevin O'Sullivan be interested? I think anybody will be interested, Matt, when you start throwing money around.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, It's not the be-all, end-all. A lot of things matter more to a lot of people, but you start throwing around big salaries, and most people are going to at least listen.
Sure. Parrish, how special is this story? Maybe that's a leading way to ask this question, and I'm sorry, but I guess I'm comfortable doing it. How special is this Tim Elko story right now, and have you ever seen anything quite like it?
No, I really haven't. To come back and just to be so productive. Now, the ACL is a tricky injury, and you can have a severe ACL tear, or you can just have a tear that you can only fix with surgery. Well, that's kind of what they diagnosed Tim Elko with. He's got a tear, but it's not one of these extreme tears where 2 ligaments were blown up. And I mean, they felt like they could rehab it. And over the course of the rehab and how he responded to that, they felt like he could play again. Well, he came back as a pinch hitter, and he continued to rehab, and they decided he could run around the bases a little bit. And it's not easy, but he's able to do that, and he's gone from being a pinch hitter, to a guy they feel like can bat multiple times in a game. What I thought yesterday, Matt, was lots of times when Tim Elko bats, he may get to trot around the bases, at his own leisure, or maybe maybe it's a double, maybe it's something like that. Yeah. But yesterday, for him to be intentionally walked 2 times, and to start that journey at first base 2 times, that's a lot of stress, and that's something they're going to have to manage.
Well, and on that one of those where they intentionally walked him, he wound up at second, and I don't remember if it was a throwaway or what it was, but I saw him sprint from second base to third, and I kind of watched him.
Yeah.
And I thought, man, he's actually running a little better than I thought he could, or at least it looked that way.
Right. Yeah, he did okay.
Yeah. Well, we'll see how he does today. But that story certainly is incredible. What do you think about today's pitching matchup we're going to get, Parrish?
Well, Jack Leiter threw very well against Ole Miss in Oxford. They really didn't hit him. I think maybe once or twice. He went about 6 innings, threw about 91 pitches. They just really didn't have much success against him. So it's going to be hard for them. Now, maybe he's a little off. Maybe this offense is hot, because we've seen the Ole Miss offense do some really good things. It's going to take Ole Miss being on top of its game offensively And then, like I said, they're going to piece it together with pitching. Tyler Myers has mostly been a middle reliever. He started 2 times this year, like Austin Peay and Arkansas State. And even in those games, it was planned that he was not going to pitch long. I think the longest outing in his career was like a 5-inning relief appearance. They're going to get a lot of guys involved today, and we'll see how it goes. It's another good offense in the other dugout.
Well, Parrish, enjoy the ball game there in person at the Hoover Met in Hoover, Alabama today, and all the free Dr. Pepper you can possibly drink, compliments of the SEC. Enjoy it.
Well, I know a lot of guys who love Dr. Pepper, and if you do, this is a good place.
You're exactly right. Yeah. A good place to be. Appreciate it, Parrish. Thank you.
All right, Matt. See you later.
All right. See you. Parrish Alford. Y'all follow him on Twitter at Parrish Alford. He's the Ole Miss beat writer for the Northeast Mississippi Daily Journal. Tyler Myers is going to start for Ole Miss. He's 3-2 this year with a 6.15, right-hander. 3-2 with a 6.15. Maybe more importantly, though, you look at hits, walks, strikeouts per inning. He's thrown 26 1/3 innings this year for Ole Miss, 29 strikeouts, right at a strikeout per inning. In those 29 1/3, he's given up 18 runs on 29 hits. I said 29 1/3. He's pitched 26 1/3 innings. This year, 29 hits and 18 earned runs. He's only walked 4, though, in those 26 1/3. That's not bad at all. So, he'll put it in the strike zone. He's given up 4 home runs this year in those outings. On the other side is Jack Leiter, who, as we know, is a high first-round prospect. Maybe as a freshman, maybe a little bit of a wall, where he wasn't quite as dominant over about a 2-3 week stretch, sort of, kind of. There were rumors that maybe he's a little tired, a little sore, something like that, but he hasn't missed any time. Right after some of those rumors came out that, we're hearing maybe he's going to miss a start or whatever. No, he didn't miss a start. In fact, they went to Ole Miss, and the only game Vanderbilt won in Oxford was the game he started, and he was lights out that particular day against that Ole Miss lineup. Leiter this year is 8-2 with a 2.12 ERA. So get these numbers. Leiter has thrown 76 1/3 innings, 127 strikeouts. Yeah, he's got a bunch of walks that's piled up on him, though. Those 76 1/3 innings, he's walked 34 guys, 18 runs on 22 hits. I think I got that right. Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. All right, so that's your matchup, but Ole Miss going to piece it together. It looks like Vandy, they want Leiter to have a normal start, go 6-7, see how far you can go, throw 100 pitches. It'll be Myers for 2-3 innings, and unless he's just on fire, they'll hit the bullpen, see what happens. Should be an interesting game. Hour 1 in the books, hour 2 coming up. We'll start off on the phone line. I'm Matt in the Bureau. Stick around.
Farm Bureau Insurance stands ready to provide financial relief to our communities in this time of crisis. This includes a one-time credit to all personal auto policyholders, a donation of $500,000 to the Mississippi Food Network, and additional payment options for those hit the hardest, all while continuing to service customer claims as well. But this is the time to go above and beyond. These are a few ways we're keeping the Farm Bureau promise. To learn more, talk to your agent or visit us online. Go with the home team.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
We are about to have a fire and cook some sausage. A country-pleasing sausage is outstanding whether you cook it over a fire or in the house. Cook some of this right here. It's green onion flavor. You see that? But this right here is my favorite, the maple flavor. And this is great for breakfast. It's awesome cooking it in the house because it makes the whole house smell good. Oh yeah. Let's eat country pleasing sausage, the best, hands down. If you go to countrypleasing.com, you can actually order this and deliver it to your house. Country pleasing sausage, hands down, the best. Trust me. Davini Equipment, Spring Ridge Road in Jackson, Highway 51 in Madison. Hey y'all, let me tell you a little bit about C Spire. New stuff in 2021, including 5G coverage. If you go to their website right now, cspire.com, you're going to see their no bull, which, by the way, I love the Super Bowl ad with the slow motion bull. You're going to see that on the website. But look, they're right. There's been a lot of bull over the years in your wireless bill, depending on if you know who you were with. And my experience with C Spire is just like they say, there's no bull. I know what it's going to cost me each month. I know what my coverage is the number one coverage in Mississippi, period, the number one network. And they've got 5G phones that are 5G ready. Now, I have the new iPhone 12 Pro Max, got it at C Spire, went and did curbside at my local C Spire location and did the exchange where I traded in my old one, got the new one, and it's 5G capable. And we've got 5G coverage in parts of Mississippi, and it's just growing by the day. So you really ought to check that out, okay? And in terms of the new phones, you got deals going on those as well. Find those out at cspire.com. C Spire, customer inspired.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Jeans do come true. Blue Delta Jeans makes the best fitting, most comfortable jeans in the world because they are uniquely made for you and only you. Let's dive in and see what we have here. Do what I did. Visit BlueDeltaJeans.com. Find your fit, design a jean, and before you know it, you'll be addicted. Just for my listeners, enter discount code Matt Wyatt, all lowercase, BlueDeltaJeans.com. I just entered, what I knew about myself. I just answered the questions, and here they are. Nice. Yeah, Blue Delta. Just answered the questions, and they fit absolutely perfectly. They couldn't fit better. So just go online, BlueDeltaJeans.com, answer the questions, use this code. Use the code, you're going to get a discount. They are the most comfortable jeans I've ever worn, and I know that you are going to love them too.
Road for 5 seconds. And traveling at 55 miles an hour, that's enough time to travel the length of a football field. Make good decisions. Don't text and drive.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, Noise, and the Ad Council.
WRKS Pickett's Jackson.
Time.
It's time to get back to the Matt Wyatt Show.
Live in the studio.
Online at thezone1059.com and on your radio at ESPN 105.9 The Zone.
Hey, here we go. Welcome back. Hour number 2 of the show, off and running. I'm Matt in the Bureau, the Farm Bureau Insurance Studio, Farm Bureau Insurance. Go! With the home team. They are your home team at Farm Bureau. Your hometown heroes, that's your local Farm Bureau insurance agent. Available to you in all 82 counties across the great state of Mississippi. Staying connected to you because of C Spire, the #1 network in Mississippi. I'm here, Bill's here, most importantly, you are here. Feel free to comment on the live stream if you're on Facebook or YouTube. Hey to y'all. Coming to you, Jason and Walt and Harry and everybody. All y'all. Lots of texts on the Country Pleasing text line to get to. Jason, coming to you. Jason's out in Arizona. He's got wildfires going on. Wish we'd send him some rain. Wish I could, Jason. Wish I could. Best thing I can do is try to entertain you in the meantime. Or better yet, just go to some guys on the phone who might entertain you. First up, before we hit a guest on the Davini Equipment phone line, Jay in Baltimore has been hanging on a little bit. Jay, appreciate you calling, man. What's up?
Well, hey, Matt, the question, who should pitch game 1 of regional play is always a great debate. Always been a big fan of going with your number 3. I know it's a calculated risk, but I do think it sets you up for the best chance to come out a winner. Does what we saw yesterday, the day before, this mess of a performance, does that sway you in any direction for game 1 starter next week?
It doesn't really sway me, Jay, because I sort of feel like I don't care who you're playing, you just got to go 1, 2, 3, 4 and roll with it. Because actually, I'm not so sure that Bednar isn't your best bet to go out and be dominant anyway. And if you throw him game 2, it's kind of one of those, like I want to answer it by going, well, let's wait and see who you play, but that sort of goes without saying. But yeah, I understand that thinking in normal years, but to me, it's like it's a two-edged sword. It can work against you the other way. When you aren't guaranteed to get a dominant outing from number 1 or number 2, the last thing you could afford to do is go throw number 3 in game 1 and lose. If that makes any sense at all.
Yeah, there's no doubt. I mean, look, we're right now still projected as a national seed. If we get Southern, they're projecting Southern to come in there. We beat them 15-1 at the Dude.
Good point.
I'm actually going the opposite direction. I think this confirms even more that we should go with a Cade Smith or someone for game 3. Game 1, because I just think this team, without a doubt, to face a number 2, we're going to need our top 2 to win a 2 out of 3. That's just my opinion, but I think you roll the dice and see what happens.
Good stuff, Jay. You're probably right. I think Jay's right more than I am, if y'all really pay attention. I think he's right more often than I am. I tell you somebody who's been right in a lot of his career. Well, he's been doing a lot of writing, not the R-I-G-H-T kind, but the W-R-I-T-I-N-G kind, is my friend Joel Coleman. Y'all remember familiar with Joel over the years. He's covered Mississippi State for a lot of years. And most recently, you've followed his coverage on the Cowbell Corner team site for Sports Illustrated. Joel Coleman has run and operated that for about a year now. You've heard his voice on the Thunder and Lightning podcast with our friend Brian Haydad. And Joel is moving on up. He's in Starkville, but he's going down the street, going to work for the university in the athletics department. We're going to talk about that and more with him right now on the Davini Equipment phone line. Joel, can I call you Joel T? Is that okay?
Man, yeah. You can call me whatever you want to, Matt. All that matters is that now, whatever you call me, I can respond with what's been on my heart all along, if I'm honest, with a good old hearty Hail State.
A good old hearty Hail State. For those listening, Joel has been hired by the university, an in-house writer, and telling kind of the stories, kind of in the way that Bob Carskadden used to do before Bob moved on and is doing some other stuff. Help me, Joel, for those listening, kind of describe that position and what you're going into the athletics department to do.
That's part of it. It's going to be somewhat the role that Bob Carskadden held previously, that there's going to be a strong written presence that will appear on hillstate.com. Of course, hopefully giving all Mississippi State fans or just people in general interested in Mississippi State student athletes or coaches or any of that, just a more in-depth view of those coaches and players. And, I'm sure we'll delve into some history from time to time. And, of course, I think Coach Polk's going to be right down the hall from me. Maybe get some good stories from him. There's no telling what we're going to end up doing. But there's going to be a lot of good stuff there. And as I get settled in, and, of course, Mississippi State is lucky to have some of the most talented video and creative minds, I think, in all of college athletics. And as we kind of tag team some of this, I'm not 100% sure, to be honest with you, where it may end up.
Sure.
There could be some podcasting from a frequent basis that's, university based.
Sure.
John Cohen has done his podcast at times through the years. Perhaps we get a more, consistent podcasting presence in the future. Some of it's to be determined, to be honest, but we do know that there is going to be a significant written piece, and it will evolve into other things, I'm sure, as we go along. But, man, I'll tell you what, I'm thrilled to do it.
Well, and I'm happy for you, too. It just seems like really a perfect fit. And, you were talking about all those things, Joel, the written part of it, but then, the audio piece where people listen to podcasts and listen to content, the video piece, they watch it. And I was just thinking that's kind of really the way media has gone, isn't it? In that, 10, 15 years ago, writing was one thing, video was totally separate, audio and radio was different. But now it's like media is just all of that. If you're in media, you do a little bit of everything, don't you?
Yeah, you kind of have to be versatile, which, for folks like me, sometimes it's not that great, because that means you have to get used to getting on camera. And, I love the good Lord, and he blessed me with several gifts, and I got a lot of blessings. I don't know that looks was one of them, So, getting in front of a camera sometimes I don't know is my strong suit. Some might say my voice isn't my strong suit either. But anyway, you're right in that you really do have to be versatile. And I found at the end of the day, a lot of it doesn't really so much have to do with your looks or your voice. It's the content you provide. If you give people, a story or a video or a podcast, and it's a topic that people are interested in or can relate to or sink their teeth into in whatever way, that's really all that matters. But you're right, man. There's with everybody walking around nowadays with a phone in their pocket, and that's how media is consumed. Everybody now is clicking on a YouTube video or something. You just have to be ready to, I guess, adapt. You think about younger generations and things. That I used to work for a newspaper. I don't know how many. I'm looking around right now in my neighborhood. I don't see anybody that's got a newspaper laying in their driveway.
I know. I know.
Media is just consumed in a different way, man, and you have to find ways to go out and reach, I guess, as an athletic department, your fan base. But if you're a newspaper or a news organization, how do you reach your consumers? And you have to be versatile nowadays in order to do that.
You certainly do. Joel Coleman on your radio right now. And in case you missed the news, Joel is making a move down the street. He's going to be in the athletics department at Mississippi State and kind of covering things and putting out content, telling the stories from athletes to coaches to historical content. Really looking forward to, just as a fan and a consumer myself, being able to see what you're able to come up with. Hey, and I have a question for you, though. Let's talk, real-time sports, Joel, because I know you cover state baseball and have been. When you got on the phone, I was talking with one of our listeners, Jay, up in Baltimore, Maryland. He's like, who should State pitch in game one of a regional? I gave him sort of an opinion. It was like, I don't know what it is with me. If it's conservative or what, but I'm like, just throw your top guy in the first game. Just throw your top guy in the first game. Remove all doubt, right? He, on the other hand, said, what if you play Southern, you beat them really badly? He might throw his number 3 or somebody like a Cade Smith in that first game to make sure you have others available, those top guys available later. He has a question for you. He texts me on the Country Pleasing text line, and he said he always loves reading your comments, and he wants to know, who would you start in game 1 of a regional next week?
I appreciate you, Jay. And to be honest with you, Matt,
Yeah.
I'm Team Jay on this one. I personally, now granted, when I signed my things agreeing to a deal over there at Mississippi State, they didn't tell me to be Chris Lamonis' assistant. So he's not going to listen to me on this. But I'm team. As I think about it, and you think about a regional, it's all about winning the regional. Nobody cares looking back if you won on Friday night of the regional. You got to win the regional.
Mm-hmm.
And as I think about the pathway to get there for Mississippi State, is a Cade Smith or a Brandon Smith who started in the SEC tournament didn't have the greatest of starts, but he's done it in the past, and it wouldn't totally shock me to see him go out there in the first game of a regional this coming weekend, or I guess I should say next weekend. If you cannot beat the 4 seed with a Brandon Smith or a Cade Smith or something like that, I kind of feel like you weren't going to win the regional anyway.
Right.
And in my mind, the best pathway for Mississippi State to win a regional is to defeat the 4 seed with a number 3 starter, and then you're sitting there hopefully 1-0 on Saturday with Christian McLeod rested and ready to go to pitch you into the championship game. And then, as you said, Matt, with Will Bednar, I'm not convinced that he may be really, I know he's the number 2, but he may be the ace of the staff. Anyway, you got him sitting there on a Sunday ready to punch your ticket into a super regional.
Yeah.
I feel like that's the best pathway, because if you play it the other way, even if McLeod wins on Friday and Bednar wins on Saturday, well, then you got your number 3 or bullpen game or whatever sitting there in a championship game. And if you lose that against what's probably either a number 2 or 3 seed, then you're getting into a 4th or 5th game. I mean, you really start digging deep there and have to hope that somebody has the performance of a lifetime kind of thing.
Sure.
I just feel like State's best pathway to a regional win is a number 3 starter or something of that nature on a Friday night. Because quite honestly, if you finish second in a regional, nobody cares. It's you either win a regional or you don't, and I just feel like that gives State the best chance.
Yeah. Joel Coleman on your radio right now. What did you make of kind of the demeanor of the team, the demeanor of Coach Lamonis exiting Hoover yesterday after a couple of back-to-back 10-run rule losses? What do you kind of make of the psyche of the team right now? Is it easy enough for them just flush it and move on, you think?
I think so. I don't put a lot of stock in what happens in Hoover. I mean, shoot, Ray Tanner he made a career out of, going pretty quick and out over in Hoover and then compete for national titles with South Carolina. I don't put a ton of stock in what happens over there. That said, I mean, you'd feel a lot better about yourself had you not went over there and gotten boat raced in a couple of games. But that said, I just feel like when you got Tanner Allens and Rowdy Jordans and guys that have been there and done that when the lights come on for a regional at Dudy Noble Field, the last thing in their mind is going to be how they played 10 days before over in Hoover. I just don't think it's going to have any carryover at all. That SEC tournament, look, I love going over there. I love watching it. It's on my TV screen right now.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, it's just a weird event in that for so many teams, you have to play that balancing act of, yeah, we want to win, but we don't really want to go in guns blazing either to do it. And, when you get to Mississippi State's shoes and you fall behind to Florida, I think it was 4-1 early, and you get behind early to Tennessee, it's kind of easy to just, even subconsciously a little bit, say, this really doesn't matter. And you wonder if maybe that thought kind of creeped in those minds a little bit. Come next week in Starkville at Dudy Noble Field, I don't think anybody's going to have that it don't matter mindset at all. So I just think it's 2 completely different ball games, and what happened in Hoover, Alabama, I don't think is going to have much to do with what happens here in a week or so.
Sure. Well, and, I listened to Tanner Allen's comments both days, and I'm hearing an older guy who's been through it, and he even commented yesterday, I think it was, Joel, he said, both trips I've been to Omaha already in my career, we came over here and didn't play well. And so that, I wonder how when I hear that from a veteran leader, your SEC Player of the Year, I kind of feel like it's one of those in other words things where he's saying, we've come here and not played well before. It's not that we're intentionally tanking anything. It's just that sometimes you're looking past it. And if you're going to look past something, that's the one that's kind of understandable. I mean, if we're being totally honest.
Yeah, and when you're dealing with the caliber of baseball that's in the Southeastern Conference, if you look past it a little bit, and all of a sudden, you know, lights come on and you got Florida out there, number 13 team in the country, started the season as the number 1 team in the country. There's all kind of talent on that field. You look past those boys, no surprise you got beat 13-1. You know, and then the next day, you look at a Tennessee team that wins the East. You know, you look past them a little bit. I mean, that's a lot of talent over there on that side, and Tony Vitello's done an excellent job with that program. I mean, you saw, you know, a couple of weeks ago in Starkville when Missouri came to town, you know, the cellar dweller in the SEC, but there's a lot of talent in this league, even on the bottom tier teams. You know, you go out there and if you're not 100% mentally invested, you know, you can get bit pretty quick. And I think that's kind of what happened to State and Hoover. And I think you're right, Matt. That kind of is, those are the kinds of losses you can shake off kind of quickly because you can come settle back in and kind of say, you know, this wasn't us kind of deal. And
sure.
So we'll see. You know, I could be proven wrong, and perhaps it was an indicator of things to come. But my hunch is that it was a couple of bad days of baseball, and come next week's duty on the field, you're going to see a different group of Bulldogs.
You think State's still a national seed?
I think it's to be determined.
Yeah.
I think they could probably use Stanford to lose at least a game this weekend. That would sure help. If I had to guess, I say yes, just because you have to look at the totality of the body of work. Right now, when everybody makes these guesses and says that State doesn't deserve it or whatever, they're so, you know, jaded and swayed by what they saw most recently. But had those same 2 losses happened, you know, in late March, and State had ended the year with 3 wins in a row against Alabama, I guess you know, if you just shake around the schedule and put those 2 bad losses in the middle of the year instead of the end,
right?
Nobody's all that concerned. And that's kind of what you have to do here as you look at these teams, is look at the totality of the body of work. And Mississippi State, a 40-win team that won 20 games in the SEC, and, you know, we're right there competing with for the regular season league championship at the end of the year.
Yeah.
It's awfully tough for me to believe that it's going to be easy for somebody to leap them into that national seed spot.
Sure.
And now I'm not Kendall Rogers and those boys. They're more in tune with that than I am. But State's resume is awfully impressive. You kind of just have to remember that the last 2 losses, that's not what anybody's judging this thing off of. It's the totality of the body of work, and State's got an awfully good one.
Yeah. Good stuff, Joel. Hey, listen, I appreciate some of your time today on a Friday, heading into what's going to be a long weekend and then off down a new path for you. I'm glad that that new path doesn't lead you away. We're still going to get to see you in and around Starkville and at the ball games and get to read your content at hailstate.com. So hats off to you. Congrats. And we're looking forward to it.
Thanks, Matt. I'm looking forward to it as well. And, you know, looking forward to seeing you around still. And for everybody listening, I hope to see you out at Duty Noble or Davis Wade or wherever our paths cross. But, yeah, looking forward to it, Matt. Thank you, man.
Hey, go ahead and give me that sign off one more time, that thing you've been wanting to say a lot. Go ahead. Hail State.
Hail State?
That's it. We'll get it more in sync in time. That's good. Appreciate you, Joel. Talk to you soon.
Yeah, Matt. Thanks, man.
See you. Bye. And Joel Coleman. Yeah, so you guys remember several years ago, State had a guy named Bob Carskadden who, you know, many State fans, you followed him, you knew Bob was consistently pumping out content, you know, kind of an inside look at some things and stories you might not otherwise get. from inside the athletics department. And Bob moved on to some other stuff. And so it may not be exactly the same. It sounds like Joel's going in and going to take on some of that in several different capacities. And so happy for him and looking forward to it. Another way to stay connected to that team. I think more and more teams, more and more schools will do those kinds of things going forward where, it's not necessarily, in any way sort of one-upping your local media that cover you. It's just local media have sort of a different job on the beat, more in-time, timely, quick results, stats, final scores, breaking news, those kinds of things. And a lot of times those folks are working and around the clock on that and hitting deadlines at night after ball games, don't have as much time to work on maybe the feature story or the behind the scenes or the contextual piece or get to know this athlete or this coach or, those kinds of things. So we'll see what they come up with. I think it should be good. I know Joel's going to do a good job and wanted to make sure y'all were aware. Okay, now look, we're way into the show. Lots of texts, calls to get to, texts and comments to get to on the live stream. Y'all keep those coming. What I'm going to do when we come back, we're going to look at these projections. D1 Baseball as well as Baseball America have new, as of today, projected fields of 64 for the NCAA baseball tournament leading up to the College World Series. I'll tell you who they have hosting at what seed and who's in where. Maybe some surprises in there for you. Right now, the game is in the top of the second, and Ole Miss threatening. It's a 0-0 game, Vanderbilt Ole Miss, but Ole Miss has bases loaded with no outs. Bases loaded, no outs in the top of the second. Ole Miss trying to get some work done. Update on that ball game when we come back. I'm Matt in the Bureau. Stick around.
There's a lot of noise when it comes to 5G.
We're 5G ready.
We're 5G-ish.
At C-Spire, we're not.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Better buy Bird's Eye. Better buy Bird's Eye.
Yes, always look for this Bird's Eye Bird, your guarantee of top quality frozen food. And your big Bird's Eye buy this week is Bird's Eye Orange Juice. Easy, you can serve it in a minute. Thrifty, it will save you money. Orchard fresh and delicious.
Better buy Bird's Eye. Better buy Bird's Eye.
Now, if you know your oats and want to feel your oats and taste how good an oat cereal can be, well, you'll go for Cheerios. Great way to start the day with really great eating. That's Cheerios, one of the few foods made from oats. The tasty cereal grain everyone should have at breakfast. Crisp and golden as only a toasted oat cereal can be. And nourishing? Why, a Cheerios breakfast gives you the power protein that grown-ups need to help stay in trim and youngsters need to grow on. Toasted oat goodness, toasted oat flavor, a delicious power breakfast. That's Cheerios.
Let me tell you about an ice cream can't be beat.
The very best tasting you can eat.
It's Meadow, 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 Meadow Smooth Freeze Meadow Gold. Go to your ice cream man today and here's the word that you should say. Oh, give me Meadow, Meadow, Meadow Smooth Freeze Meadow Gold. And remember, folks, Meadow Gold
is mighty good.
For double enjoyment, reach for Beech Nut Peppermint Gum. It sparkles your smile, your breath, your whole sense of enjoyment. Beech Nut Peppermint in the familiar yellow pack.
6 o'clock, dinner time. Thank goodness for Jell-O Instant Pudding.
Yes, thank goodness for Jell-O Instant Pudding. The terrific busy day dessert you can make at the very last minute. See how quick and easy. Just add it to cold milk and beat it up. That's all. By the time you're ready to eat it, it's all ready for you. Jell-O Instant Pudding, made by the famous Jell-O folks. So creamy, so nourishing, so delicious. No other instant pudding is quite the same. Stock your shelves with all 7 flavors. The good busy day dessert. Jell-O Instant Pudding.
It's the Matt Wyatt Show on 105.9 The Zone.
Man, they got a heck of a battle going on right here, right now in this Ole Miss Vanderbilt game. It's scoreless, top of the second inning. Ole Miss has the bases loaded with no outs. They got a hit by pitch of Kevin Graham. He was the leadoff. They walked Elko. Dunhurst then singled to load the bases. And Peyton Chatagnier, who's having a great tournament at the plate for Ole Miss, is batting right now. 2-strike count. He's got a 2-2 count. He's fouled a couple off, staying alive, no outs, trying to get something done. And they've tried like crazy to get him to chase stuff out of the zone low and away. A couple of breaking balls away, he didn't chase it. Both of those were 2 strikes. He gets a fastball, 2 strikes, fouled it off. They came right back. Tried to get him to chase down and away. He didn't. And now the count is full. Early in an elimination game. Somebody's going home. And Ole Miss with a chance to strike. So you're going to get a payoff. No outs. Jack Leiter on the mound. Looks like they may have induced a pop-up. Will it stay in? Will it stay in? No, it reaches the seats. And that's what it sounds like, kids. When somebody does play-by-play who shouldn't be doing it. All right, I'm Matt. Welcome back into the Bureau, the Farm Bureau Insurance Studio. Farm Bureau, go! With the home team. They are your home team at Farm Bureau Insurance. Your hometown heroes. I did want to point out, Jason in Flagstaff texted us earlier, and he said, is there any way that y'all can send some of that rain and humidity out here? Wildfires are getting bad already. He's in Arizona. He said one started yesterday evening in Baghdad, Arizona, and burned down 25 houses before anyone could respond. Whoa. That is incredible, Jason. I hate to hear that. Wish we could send it out there. Update on the ball game from Hoover. It's 1-0 Ole Miss. He's walked in a run. That was an unbelievable at bat. Again, the sequence that's going on right here, top of the second, you'd have to even go back. It's like they got momentum with Myers on the mound because he had 2 on with no outs and then got back-to-back strikeouts and a pop-up to get out of the inning and strand those Vanderbilt runners. They come into the dugout. Kevin Graham led off the inning, got hit on the ankle. First base, here he goes. Elko comes up. They walk him. Dunhurst comes up, single, loaded, and they just about 7-8 pitches work the count full, and Chatagnier draws a walk, and it's now 1-0 Ole Miss. And so now you have Leatherwood batting with the bases loaded and no outs for Ole Miss. They just caught a first pitch breaking ball strike on one that looked like it was in. It must have caught the plate, though. Didn't get much of an argument. But a little something there, a little chance early in the ball game. All right, so let's get over to those projections as I promised you. I'll start off with D1 baseball. So listen closely. Pay attention. D1baseball.com, new 64-team projections. They have the host sites, the 16 host sites, seeded in this order in the latest projections as of this morning at D1 Baseball. Arkansas 1, Vanderbilt 2, Texas 3, Arizona 4, Tennessee 5, Notre Dame 6, Texas Tech 7, Mississippi State 8. And there's what you want to know. As of this morning, after those losses, D1 Baseball still projects State as the 8th national seed. All right, we continue. Stanford 9, TCU 10, Oregon 11, Ole Miss 12, Florida 13, East Carolina 14, Gonzaga 15 in Spokane, Washington. It'll be a long little trip right there, depending on who you are. And the 16th host site, the 16th seed in Hattiesburg, Mississippi, the Southern Miss Golden Eagles hosting a regional there. D1 Baseball, because of what Southern Miss has done, playing themselves into the semifinals of the Conference USA tournament. The path for Southern Miss, they beat Western Kentucky. They then beat Louisiana Tech. and have moved on to, I said semis, just quarters. They moved on to the quarterfinals in the tournament, and they sent La Tech to the loser's bracket. La Tech and Western Kentucky are going to meet up in an elimination game. The winner of that one will come over here and face Southern Miss, and you could potentially have to beat them twice. But Southern Miss is what are they? One win away from the Conference USA title game, a clear path to going and winning the whole thing. And right now, because of that, D1 Baseball has Southern Miss as a part of the host as well. You'd have 3 host sites in the state of Mississippi, according to D1 Baseball. Now, who's in there? Okay, and I'll start with Southern Miss, the 16th seed. They've got Southern Miss, 16th seed, hosting NC State as the 2, Alabama as the 3, and South Alabama as the 4. That would not be an easy regional by any stretch whatsoever, but that's what they have. Okay, back to the Oxford Regional. They have Ole Miss as the 12 seed. By the way, update on Ole Miss right now. They're playing Vanderbilt, leading 1-0. Top of the second, they have the bases loaded. Now 1 out. Leatherwood struck out looking on a really good breaking ball pitch. There's nothing he could do with it. That's just Jack Leiter being Jack Leiter right there. So it's 1 out in the inning, still a chance to get another run home if you just put the bat on the ball. Something other than a double play is what they've got to have. All right, the Ole Miss Oxford Regional, they are projecting this. As the 12 seed, Ole Miss would host 2 seed Louisiana Tech. Ugh, that's tough. 3 seed North Carolina, watch out. And 4 seed Southeast Missouri State. And then this is all the D1 baseball. For Mississippi State, they have them as the number 8 national seed. The Starkville Regional, they would have 2 seed Florida State, 3 seed Long Beach State, the Dirtbags, and 4 seed Southern, the SWAC tournament champion. Real quick side note, back to something that Joel Coleman said. He said, the whole body of work. And we agree with that, right? Like, you don't discount the whole season. You win 40 games, just the 2 bad losses in the SEC tournament knock you out of your position. Should it, shouldn't. He didn't think it should. Well, what about Jackson State? What about their body of work? What about going undefeated in conference play all year long? You lose 1 game in the conference tournament, and now you're not in, and they are. I don't know about that. Hey, before we do the Baseball America projections, they're pretty similar, but, slightly different here or there. Let's head over to the Davini Equipment phone line. Davini Equipment in Madison and in Jackson. Gator Greg on line 1. What's up, Greg?
Mr. White, you're doing an excellent job there on the play-by-play. I don't know if Mississippi State is looking for play-by-play in football, but you better stay as analyst. But Mr. White, I was just calling in with the news with Coach Paneri stepping down. Mm-hmm. I got to meet him over the years. I respect him. He's been a great coach at LSU, won a national championship, and then played for the other one, lost to the Gators. I was just asking you some of these guys I'm hearing, that could be in the line to replace Coach Paneri. Mm-hmm. I don't know how old Coach Casey is out there at the Oregon State, and I think if McDonald is ever going to leave Louisville for an SEC job, this will be the year either at Texas A&M or maybe LSU. I think I might check with the guy in Virginia. You faced him in the Super Regional, O'Connor. Remember when Mississippi State went up there and won in Charlottesville? He's been a coach, and he was real tight with Maneri. I don't know if he wants to follow there. Maybe even Childress, because he's got the connections with Woodward down at A&M before Ross Bjork got that in there. But I want to get your thoughts on that with the baseball. A good job, Mr. Wyatt. Ole Miss, I think they can win this game. And they would have to play – who would they have to play to get to the finals?
Arkansas.
Florida has to be – okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to predict Ole Miss, because I'm friends with the homecoming queen, will make it to Sunday, and I think the Gators will make it to Sunday. And I'm going to say this, and I hope I'm not raining on parade, but I think if it's Florida, Ole Miss in the SEC final, the winner of that game will be a national seed at number 8. You mark it right here, and I think it's going to be Armageddon, Mr. White, because I think there's some way Mississippi State and Ole Miss are going to be on opposite sides, and we're going to be talking in 2 weeks for a super regional to go to Omaha. You guys have a great Memorial Day weekend. Appreciate you, Mr. White.
Yeah, appreciate you, Greg. Great call. Well, look, okay, first of all, on the coaching thing at LSU, Greg, you know, these people in Louisiana these media folks have obviously had the name of Kevin O'Sullivan at Florida leaked to them because they not only are rumoring it, they put it in the headlines, you know, that he's connected to this opening with Maneri retiring. So it seems like that's probably a real deal there, real deal possibility, but we will see. And somebody said, you know, LSU, they're not going to hire somebody that's like, oh, who is that guy? They're going to hire somebody that we automatically know who it is. And that's probably true. On your scenario, I don't know if y'all realize what Greg was proposing, but he brought it up to us, I think, 2 days ago when we were broadcasting live from Hoover before any of this really started developing. He said, what if Florida and Ole Miss play themselves into Sunday? One of those teams is going to move up and become a national seed, especially Ole Miss because they're a little bit ahead anyway, aren't they? And if they do, if it happens, and let's say Ole Miss does that, and they put them in as a national seed, they move ahead of State. It knocks State down to probably number 9, and you'd have State and Ole Miss opposite each other. That if they both win their regionals, they would face each other in a super regional. That's what you get. Well, Ole Miss got another run on a sack fly, so they're up 2-0, but Leiter was able to get out of it. You head to the bottom of the second. Ole Miss up 2-0 on Vanderbilt right now in Hoover. We're one step closer, Greg. Y'all stick around.
Now's the time to get a great deal on select.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
For double enjoyment, reach for Beech Nut Peppermint Gum. It sparkles your smile, your breath, your whole sense of enjoyment. Beech Nut Peppermint in the familiar yellow pack.
Jeans do come true. Blue Delta Jeans makes the best fitting, most comfortable jeans in the world. Let's dive in and see what we have here. Do what I did. Visit BlueDeltaJeans.com. Find your fit. Just for my listeners, enter discount code Matt Wyatt. Just answer the questions. BlueDeltaJeans.com. Answer the questions. Use this code. Use the code. You're going to get a discount. They are the most comfortable jeans I've ever worn.
Farm Bureau Insurance stands ready to provide financial relief to our communities in this time of crisis. This includes a one-time credit to all personal auto policyholders, a donation of $500,000 to the Mississippi Food Network, and additional payment options for those hit the hardest, all while continuing to service customer claims as well. But this is the time to go above and beyond. These are a few ways we're keeping the Farm Bureau promise. To learn more, talk to your agent or visit us online. Go with the home team.
Hey, y'all, let me tell you a little bit about C Spire. New stuff in 2021, including 5G coverage. If you go to their website right now, cspire.com, you're going to see their no bull, which, by the way, I love the Super Bowl ad with the slow motion bull. You're going to see that on the website. But look, they're right. There's been a lot of bull over the years in your wireless bill, depending on if, who you were with. And my experience with C Spire is just like they say, there's no bull. I know what it's going to cost me each month. I know what my coverage is the number one coverage in Mississippi, period, the number one network. And they've got 5G phones that are 5G ready. Now, I have the new iPhone 12 Pro Max, got it at C Spire, went and did curbside at my local C Spire location and did the exchange where I traded in my old one, got the new one, and it's 5G capable. And we've got 5G coverage in parts of Mississippi, and it's just growing by the day. So you really ought to check that out, okay? And in terms of the new phones, you got deals going on those as well. Find those out at cspire.com. C Spire, customer inspired.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Every farmer understands their farm can't thrive without some good partners like sun, soil, and rain. And farmers in North Mississippi also rely on another important partner, Mississippi Land Bank, because land and farm financing are Mississippi Land Bank's primary focus. We've grown alongside these farmers' crops for more than 100 years. We understand what a farmer needs, and we know the lay of the land in North Mississippi, and that's where I stand.
A lot of people in the equipment world, things kind of go in trends, I guess, if you want to say it. So kind of the first big thing that we look at when we start evaluating our business is going to be our turf equipment. That's kind of the first big push, because once everything, the water dries up and the grass starts growing, this is what everybody's looking to get. We carry the new Wright stand-up mower. Doesn't look like much, but this thing is, and it costs just as much as zero turn. Not a cheap unit at all. I mean, if you go out there and look at that zero turn, this thing right here, I mean, it's got all your components from your big pumps to your commercial engine to your large steel deck. And these guys were the first ones to make the standard mower.
Better buy Bird's Eye. Better buy Bird's Eye.
Yes, always look for this Bird's Eye Bird, your guarantee of top quality frozen.
He's going all the way. Bring it up! With playoff caliber sports talk, it's the Matt Wyatt Show. 3 minutes for your life right now. On 105.9 The Zone.
Hey, everybody, let's go. We're rolling right along here in hour number 2. A few minutes left with you, hour 2. And we got hour 3 for those that get to stick around for that. And I got a real treat for you here today for the remainder of the Bureau, our time in the Bureau. The Farm Bureau Insurance Studio. Beaver is here. Take a bow, Beaver. Hey, sir.
Hey, Matt Wyatt.
How y'all are?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you doing?
I'm peachy as far as I know. Last I heard, I'm fine. I'm doing just fine. Yeah. Beaver is here. Doggone, a good radio host, like, if I were a good one, I would have already had this queued up and wouldn't have to stall until I found it, like right now. But here we go. This is good. Here you go. There you go, Beaver. Beaver got mad on the air yesterday afternoon, but it, I think, might have been warranted. Beaver, you've got no patience for these fans who say teams are trying to lose. Is that correct?
Yeah, I view it as an excuse. Oh, we lost big time. Oh, it's okay that we lost big time. No, you're just trying to, that's your way of coping with it.
It's a coping mechanism. Well, let me tell you a little story. Can I tell you a story?
Please do.
All right, I'm going to switch the music. Story time. Yesterday morning, during the Mississippi State and Tennessee game, Beaver, I was sitting next to my dad, kind of up behind home plate, up, like if you were to go up from the first base on deck circle. And on the seats right behind us was a couple, man and a woman. He's a State fan. She's an Ole Miss fan. You could tell by their attire what they were wearing. Really nice people. I was wearing a hat for something else. The Chosen series is about the life of Jesus, and she recognized it and asked me about it. She's like, oh, we watch it. We're big fans. And we struck up a conversation, right? And she's a big Ole Miss fan. He's intently watching the game, and State's just getting throttled. Okay. At one point, she says to me, hey, Matt. And I turn around and look, and she goes, do you think State is sort of just almost trying to lose? Like they don't really even care about being here, just trying to go home? I said, well, and when I was thinking, she goes, because he, and she points to her husband, thinks that they're not really even trying to win this game. So, Beaver, what do? I'm like, if I tell her the truth, it's going to make her husband look bad right here in front of all of us. Or do I just play it off and try to smooth it over and think, well, their relationship is more important? I said in a nice way. I said, no, I honestly don't think you got players that are trying to lose or whatever. They just don't know how to play any other way than, I'm at a game, I want to win it. They came here to win. Now, I said to her, now, there are factors that can keep them from being as focused as they normally would be. And sometimes one team's more focused than the other, whatever. But no, I don't think anybody comes into this stadium thinking, hey, let's go lose. That just doesn't happen. And they were both like, yeah, okay, all right. And I just turned around and we didn't talk to each other anymore. That's the truth. So I was just saying it as nicely as I could. I think that's the, my general approach to that conversation is, yeah, I mean, your team's not trying to lose and go home. It happens. The conference tournament, it certainly is different for a team like, let's say, Alabama, who I think may have just played themselves into the NCAA tournament by winning 2 games there, including one over Tennessee. Even though they lost Tennessee today, they also have a win over Tennessee this week, who's a top 5 RPI team. Alabama showed up knowing we must impress some people and improve our RPI or our season is over. Well, listen, that's a different type of motivation than some other teams have. You have examples in the past. You look at South Carolina under Ray Tanner. I think it was 2 different times that they won the College World Series in years where they went to Hoover and didn't stick around hardly at all. So, you know, those things can happen. The idea that a team in any way intentionally is performing poorly, getting embarrassed, that's not happening. That's just not true. Beaver, I'm not saying you and I have to agree on everything, and we probably don't, but we pretty much agree on that. And I'm glad to have you here. Hey, today is National Hamburger Day. Y'all go out and have one for me. What do you put on your hamburger? There are lots of different ingredients that can go on a hamburger that make it special to you. You can be a tomato guy. You can be an onion guy. You can be a mustard guy. You can be a no mustard. You can be a cheese or no cheese guy. I think the secret ingredient, there are 2 secret ingredients to any super duper hamburger on National Hamburger Day for me. And 1 is avocado and 2 is a fried egg. Put either one of those on a hamburger on National Hamburger Day and call it the Matt Burger for all I care. That'd be appropriate. And it seems like Monday should have been National Hamburger Day. Since it'd be Memorial Day, everybody be eating hamburgers cooked on the grill, but that's today. Just thought I'd let y'all know. All right, we went over the projected field of 64 for D1 baseball. The only thing I didn't do was tell you, and these are as of this morning, who they project are in and out. The last 5 teams in the tournament field, the last 5 to get in, according to D1 baseball, are Georgia, LSU, North Carolina, Alabama, and Long Beach State. The first 5 out of the tournament, right outside, right on the edge of the bubble, outside looking in, are Louisville, Ball State, Cal, Iowa, and Baylor. Now, that is according to D1 baseball. The Baseball America bunch have done the same thing as of this morning, a new field of 64 projection. Who's in, who's out in the NCAA baseball tournament, who's going to host. And there's some similarities, but there are also some differences. This is what Baseball America has. Host sites for regionals in this order of seeding. Number 1, Woo Pig, Arkansas. Number 2, Vanderbilt. Number 3, Texas. Number 4, Arizona. Number 5, Notre Dame. Number 6, Texas Tech. Number 7, good old Rocky Top, Tennessee. Number 8, Mississippi State. I'm a poet and don't know it. I get a rhyme every time. And then the non-national seed host sites. 9, TCU. 10, Stanford. 11, East Carolina. 12, Ole Miss. 13, Old Dominion. 14, Oregon. 15, Florida. And number 16, the final host site, Southern Miss in Hattiesburg. And in terms of who they put in the tournament, we'll start there. And Hattiesburg, they have Southern Miss hosting in Hattiesburg as a 16 seed, hosting 2 seed Florida State, 3 seed LSU, and 4 seed Northeastern. I don't know about Northeastern. They won their conference tournament, so they're in. Do you think you'd have some fun in Hattiesburg if LSU comes rolling in there along with Florida State? So that's the Hattiesburg Regional according to Baseball America. The Oxford Regional, according to them, is 2 seed La Tech, 3 seed Michigan, dadgum, 4 seed South Alabama. That is a tough regional if it were to work out that way. And then the Mississippi State in there as number 8 national seed. Starkville Regional, 2 seed Georgia Tech, 3 seed Oregon State, 4 seed Southern, the SWAC conference tournament winner. So there you go. Now, they have the last 4 teams into the tournament: Alabama, Louisville, Long Beach State, and LSU. And if you look at it, Baseball America has Louisville in the tournament. D1 Baseball does not. But they both agree that Alabama and LSU are 2 of the last teams to even get in. The first 4 out, according to Baseball America, are Indiana State, the Sycamores, Florida Atlantic, the Owls, Iowa, and South Carolina Upstate. The next 4 out would be Ball State, Wofford, San Diego State, and Southern Illinois. That's all according to Baseball America. So there you go. Who doesn't love a good list? A good old reading of a list. It's the best I got. Hour 3 is coming up. If you leave us, I hope you will have a good night and a wonderful long Memorial Day weekend if you're headed on out. If not, I hope you'll stick around because hour 3 is right around the corner.
Another load of smart pills has been distributed, and I'm slap worn out. So I'll just say, so long, neighbors. Get me out of here, Percy.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
For double enjoyment, reach for Beechnut Peppermint Gum. It sparkles your smile, your breath, your whole sense of enjoyment. Beechnut Peppermint in the familiar yellow pack.
Jeans do come true. Blue Delta Jeans makes the best fitting, most comfortable jeans in the world. Let's dive in and see what we have here. Do what I did. Visit BlueDeltaJeans.com. Find your fit. Just for my listeners, enter discount code Matt Wyatt. Just answer the questions. BlueDeltaJeans.com. Answer the questions. Use this code. Use the code. You're going to get a discount. They are the most comfortable jeans I've ever worn.
Farm Bureau Insurance stands ready to provide financial relief to our communities in this time of crisis. This includes a one-time credit to all personal auto policyholders, a donation of $500,000 to the Mississippi Food Network, and additional payment options for those hit the hardest, all while continuing to service customer claims as well. But this is the time to go above and beyond. These are a few ways we're keeping the Farm Bureau promise. To learn more, talk to your agent or visit us online. Go with the home team.
Hey, y'all, let me tell you a little bit about C Spire. New stuff in 2021, including 5G coverage. If you go to their website right now, cspire.com, you're going to see their no bull, which, by the way, I love the Super Bowl ad with the slow motion bull. You're going to see that on the website. But look, they're right. There's been a lot of bull over the years in your wireless bill, depending on if, who you were with. And my experience with C Spire is just like they say, there's no bull. I know what it's going to cost me each month. I know what my coverage is the number one coverage in Mississippi, period, the number one network. And they've got 5G phones that are 5G ready. Now, I have the new iPhone 12 Pro Max, got it at C Spire, went and did curbside at my local C Spire location and did the exchange where I traded in my old one, got the new one, and it's 5G capable. And we've got 5G coverage in parts of Mississippi, and it's just growing by the day. So you really ought to check that out, okay? And in terms of the new phones, you got deals going on those as well. Find those out at cspire.com. C Spire, customer inspired.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Every farmer understands their farm can't thrive without some good partners like sun, soil, and rain. And farmers in North Mississippi also rely on another important partner, Mississippi Land Bank, because land and farm financing are Mississippi Land Bank's primary focus. We've grown alongside these farmers' crops for more than 100 years. We understand what a farmer needs, and we know the lay of the land in North Mississippi. And that's where I stand.
A lot of people in the equipment world, things kind of go in trends, I guess, if you want to say it. So kind of the first big thing that we look at when we start evaluating our business is going to be our turf equipment. That's kind of the first big push, because once everything, the water dries up and the grass starts growing, this is what everybody's looking to get. We carry the new Wright stand-up mower. Doesn't look like much, but this thing is, and it costs just as much as zero turn. Not a cheap unit at all. I mean, if you go out there and look at that zero turn, this thing right here, I mean, it's got all your components from your big pumps to your commercial engine to your large steel deck. And these guys were the first ones to make the standard mower.
Better buy Bird's Eye. Better buy, better buy, better buy Bird's Eye.
Yes, always look for this Bird's Eye Bird, your guarantee of top quality frozen food. And your big Bird's Eye buy this week is Bird's Eye Orange Juice. Easy, you can serve it in a minute. Thrifty, it will save you money. Orchard fresh and delicious.
Better buy Bird's Eye. Better buy, better buy, better buy Bird's Eye.
Now, if you know your oats and want to feel your oats and taste how good an oat cereal can be, well, you'll go for Cheerios. Great way to start the day with really great eating. That's Cheerios, one of the few foods made from oats. The tasty cereal grain everyone should have at breakfast. Crisp and golden as only a toasted oat cereal can be. And nourishing? Why, a Cheerios breakfast gives you the power protein that grown-ups need to help stay in trim and youngsters need to grow on. Toasted oat goodness, toasted oat flavor, a delicious power breakfast. That's Cheerios.
Jackson. Live
in the studio.
Live and local. This is the Matt Wyatt Show. Talking about sports from around the world and right here at home. Streaming to you at the Zone 1059.com and on your radio on ESPN 105.9. The Zone.
What's up? All right, welcome in. Hour number 3 of the show. Off and running, an hour 3 every day here, presented by Overstreet Properties in Starkville. If you're ever headed there, let's say moving there, this is a permanent thing. You're headed there needing something residential, but maybe it's not permanent. Maybe you just head into town for ball games, football, baseball, basketball, several weekends out of the year. You need a condo. It's yours when you come into town. Maybe you have a student going to school there. You need to look at leasing an apartment. Anything residential, go to Overstreet Properties in Starkville. It is overstreetproperties.com. Tell Kane I said, hey. and he'll get you started there. Find the contact info, overstreetproperties.com. Hour 3 in the Bureau, the Farm Bureau Insurance Studio. Hit us up. Comment on the live stream. Shoot me a text on the Country Pleasing text line. It's 885-ESPN, 601-885-ESPN or 885-3776. Or call me on the Divinity phone, 995-1059. A while ago, Squirrel texted the show and he said, Beaver keeps it real. Beaver keeps it real. I think that's Squirrel's way of paying you a compliment, Beaver.
Well, thank you, Squirrel. I try to.
Yeah, I think that is definitely a compliment. Calls it like he sees it. Now, Jason in Flagstaff has a different take, Beaver, on the Country Pleasing text line. It says, and I'm just reading it here, Beaver's a communist heathen. Dude said he doesn't like corn dogs. Well, on that note, as far as Beaver and things he likes and doesn't like, after listening to a portion of the Gridiron Today, Beaver, I think I know what you're not going to be doing for Memorial Day.
What's that?
You are not going to be going to New Orleans and sitting out on the street, crossing your legs and eating beignets and drinking coffee.
I can tell you for a fact, no, sir.
We got against beignets.
And look, it's just we want to travel down to New Orleans and we want to sit there and we want to pretend that we like jazz music. Nobody likes jazz music. And we just want to, we want to eat fried whatever beignets are and pretend like we like jazz music and just, the culture of the city. Stop with the New Orleans nonsense. Okay. But
okay.
Yeah, nope, it's not for me.
I'm with you. I made a similar statement one time years ago on the radio about Oxford, and what I said was, what do you think I'm going to do? Go to the Oxford and sit out on the square, cross my legs, and read Faulkner? I ain't doing that. Oh, my gosh. I sort of was just playing, when I said it. But you would have thought that I don't know. Anyway, no, I'm with you. There's a lot of fakes in the Beaver.
Yeah.
There's a whole lot of, hey, let's go down to New Orleans and eat some food so that we can tell people we went to New Orleans and ate some food.
Exactly.
Now, if I'm totally in sync with you on this, now, if you got something down there you like, and that's the only place you can get it, and you're convinced it's the only place within 200 miles of you where you can get that, and you just have to have it, well, you know what? By all means, just go right ahead and get it. Okay, but I'm like you. Don't make the trip and take yourself a selfie and pop it out there on Facebook just so that others will see it. I'm in total lockstep with you on that.
Yeah. And like you said, if you got something down there you like, okay, like it's been forever since I've been to New Orleans.
Mm.
And it's also been forever since I've gotten any good, Matt, I have just had a hole in my heart that needs to be filled by only delicious crawfish etouffee.
Yeah,
and
okay.
I can't get it around here. Now, I would love to go down there just for that, but
Just for that.
is it really worth traveling for?
I'm so with you on it.
But I would love some good. I can't find good Cajun around here anywhere.
Yeah.
So I might have to.
You might have to. I get it. That's what I'm saying is if that's you and you or anybody else can make that decision. I think at the same time though, Beaver, I would say, and I wonder if you would agree with this, we know when it's fake. We know when the trip to go experience the culture was really so you could come back and tell us about it.
Yeah.
You're not fooling us. I find generally that people who do it because they have to have it, they do less talking about it.
Well, that's a good point.
You know what I'm saying? They talk about it a little less. I'm just going to say it like this. The most in shape physically, like physically in good conditioned athletes that I have ever seen in my life, they don't talk a whole lot about working out. But I've run into a lot of people that have talked a lot about CrossFit and put, like pictures of they and their CrossFit buddies all sweaty with their arms hanging over each other like, hey, here's our group selfie after CrossFit picture. And frankly, none of them look like they do CrossFit. Okay, I'll just be honest. I'm totally honest about this. Let's see here. Jay in Baltimore. Squirrel said Beaver keeps it real. Jay in Baltimore, he texted the show, Country Please in text, and said Beaver, Squirrel, Gator, and Chicken Hawk. Am I missing anybody? Talking about what? Keeping it real? Now, I missed this earlier. Jay, you texted, you said, watching Tim Elko bat right now and have been listening to Mike Bianco's interviews the last few days from Hoover in addition to his appearance on Uneven. Anything we can do to get Elko to have surgery early and Bianco to retire? Jay says, I can't seem to have my usual level of disdain for the Rebels with them two around. Man, I'll tell you this, that Tim Elko thing is, you did not see it much. We had Parrish Alford on the show earlier. He covers Ole Miss, and he's been covering them forever. And he says, no, I don't think I've ever seen anything quite like it. Now, to be true to it, and Parrish pointed this out, the type of ACL tear that Tim Elko has, it's not like the complete separation. You don't have two totally torn ligaments that you're not moving around hitting baseballs if you have that. He has an ACL tear that allows him to rehab it and still get out there, as you've seen. But still, the thing is, too, it's like it almost hasn't affected his ability, even though he does not have the mobility or the strength, it hadn't much affected his ability to hit home runs. And in clutch situations even. So, I tell you, man, I'm so impressed with him. And I'm a big Mike Bianco fan. I really am. Now, they are playing right now. They're playing right now, obviously up 2-0 on Vanderbilt, top of the fourth. You got a couple of outs in that inning. I mean, Jack Leiter looks like he's sort of settling in. I'm not looking at the box score, but he just got another strikeout right there. He's starting to settle in. Ole Miss and Vandy. Ole Miss up 2-0. By the way, one of the runs they have on the board was Elko. He's over at third base and tagged up on a fly ball and scored. Sure, he's running good enough to do that. So they're playing right now, but earlier, I guess it would be after their ball game yesterday, this was a way that Bianco described how they were going to use their pitching the rest of this tournament, given that you got a chance to play deep into the weekend.
And now when you get this deep into the tournament, especially if you played on Tuesday, it's just being able to piece it together, be able to throw enough strikes and be in some good counts here, and be able to put some innings together so you can make it a little easier on the pitching staff. But once you get through 3 games, it starts to become a grind here, and you can do it. We've played on the final day, coming through on a Tuesday. But it's about playing well.
So you piece it together. Well, look, though, they're out there right now with the lead on Vandy. It's an elimination game. They got Arkansas waiting on them. And through 3 innings, you're about to head to the bottom of the 4th, but Tyler Meyer, is it Tyler? Is that his name, Tyler? What's his name? Yeah, Tyler. Tyler Myers getting the start today on the mound for Ole Miss. And through 3 innings, he's been really good. No runs on 4 hits. He's faced 13 batters and struck out 5 of them. He's got 5 strikeouts, 4 fly ball outs, has not walked anybody, and has given up the 4 hits, but just has not given up a run yet. So that's outstanding. so far. I mean, that's probably more than they thought they would get to this point because, he's saying they're going to piece it together. Well, look, he's running back out there for the 4th, I guarantee you. They're not through the lineup 3 times yet, are they? Let's see, how many? Right. I mean, you've got for Vanderbilt, only the top 4 in their lineup, Bradfield, Thomas, Keegan, and Jones, have been up there twice to this point. See, so you have 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 coming up to the plate to see him just for the second time, and he's 3 innings into it. So this is probably more than they thought they were going to get out of him, which is, if you're an Ole Miss fan, it's a good thing for you. Look over there. It says that on the Davini Equipment phone line that Chicken Hawk's on there. Chicken Hawk, what's up?
Hey, my brother. You shortchanging me now.
Why? Because you didn't get your.
Who's running?
Beaver's running the board. You didn't get your sound effect. Look, all it is one sound effect. I think you'd be okay if we miss it one time.
You think I can live with it?
I think you can
All
live with it.
Look, I want to shout out to the man Jay. I love when Jay calls in. I like that joker knows some stuff. But now look at him. I'm going to tell you a little something right quick. But Beaver's going to help us out. I started to call yesterday. Because you was up in amongst all them children from the school up north and everybody that goes with them children with the school up north, and hashtag Hell State. And congratulations to the dudes up there at the school up north. But I've been I get to pay this. Now, don't be gone and go. Beaver don't know nothing about no gone. I got to get this paid out to my man up there with the Golden Spikes. Coach Jeremy Dickerson with the Golden Spikes. And I got to wave my old hand at Lee Brown. He played up at State. He's one of the assistant coaches with the Golden Spikes. And he big rascal, big lineman. He left right before Coach Sherrill came. I think the year before Coach Sherrill came. But now here's the thing right here. I usually give them children the school lesson. School's out, but that don't mean nothing because there's probably more of them listening. Now, Beaver, you get ready to help me out now. And you got to help me out too there, Bobtail. Now, listen. I want to wave my hand at the girls' state champions, fast pitch softball from KO. Now, Matt, do you know where KO is?
No, and spell it. What are you saying? Are you saying KO?
Yeah, King Oscar, KO. You don't know where KO is, Bub?
No, I don't.
Oh, that's right. You from Alabama. Oh, bless your heart. And Beaver, you know where KO is, don't you, brother?
I sure don't.
Good gosh almighty. Okay. Listen, all right, you children, Beaver, I hope you can spell. I'm going to let you try to spell this. All right. These girls won the state championship up there, and Coach Jeremy Dickerson's daughter, she ain't been in the 8th grade, but she played in high school, and she is awesome. Mom, that girl can play some softball. And she played in the 7th grade, too, on the high school team. Anyway, Beaver, KO in most everybody in Mississippi knows when you say I'm going to KO, that means I'm going to Kosciuszko. So we're waving our hands at Kosciuszko. Now, Beaver, get ready now. What you do is, and I'm going to wave my hand and tell everybody see you until Monday. But, Beaver, here you go. I want you to do this for the children that's over yonder, over there in Hoover. All right? I know there's some children listening. And there's some children at home, and there's all these children from the school up north. They're lacking a little bit. All but the homecoming queen. I can't say that about HQ. But spell Kosciuszko, Beaver, for them children. Do it for us, bub.
Oh, Kosciuszko. Kosciuszko's a tricky one. Kosciuszko. That's where the KO comes from.
Yeah, sound it out, man. Put your hand down on the bottom of your
chin. He did it. He nailed it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, you got to use that hooked on Phoenix. When we come up out there, they had that hooked on Phoenix. That stuff taught you how to speak. If you put your hand up under your chin, sound like get them syllables and stuff. So anyway, here you go. Appreciate that, Beav. I hope your children, I know that was way above them children's head, bless their heart. But anyhow, love y'all, and talk to y'all Monday. And Mr. Bobtail?
Yes.
See.
He gone. That's Mr. Chicken Hawk right there, keeping it real. I tell you this, okay, let me just say it like this. Beaver, I got an email from someone that they were just emailing about baseball, saying, a couple things they noticed, whatever. And he's had a side comment. He goes, by the way, and he complimented the job that we do whenever we get to do broadcasts with Bart for Mississippi State baseball in the SEC Plus. He said, because you guys don't talk the whole time. He basically said, there's a lot of time where you just kind of let you hear the fans, whatever, and then talk when you feel like you need to. And he was complaining, he said, because when he watches these games right now in the SEC Network for the SEC tournament, that the announcers just talk constantly. They just never shut up. And, you use some different terms for how they can just fill the air with words from, constantly. One minute full of hundreds of words. And sometimes I feel that way when Chicken Hawk calls in. It is amazing to me how many words he can get in the amount of time that he's on the phone. And if we had a counter on it, he can rattle it off now. And to his credit, he was loaded for bear today. Good call, Chicken Hawk. Good to hear from you. Hey, high five to you, sir, spelling Kosciuszko correctly.
Thank you. It used to get me.
Yeah.
That's why I can do it now, because it used to get me all the time. I always wanted to put a Z in there.
Mm-hmm. Right. I learned, I guess somewhere along the way, I started learning to, in my head, pronounce it the way that it's spelled. So I would go Kosciuszko, and in my head I'd repeat it, Kosciuszko, and that would help me to be able to spell it. I think we learned a couple of years ago, we were looking at it, I always assumed that it was like a Native American word or name, but it actually is not. It's Polish. It's a Polish word with Polish origins. Yeah, for whatever that's worth. That's just the truth of it. Okay, Jason in Flagstaff texted the show, Country Pleasing text, and he said, all jokes aside, I love Beaver. Only reason I try to listen and decipher what Brooks' show is about, he says, is you. Did you hear that? My goodness. Louvier texts the show. What's up, Louvier? He says, I got to go to Metairie to visit my sister-in-law in the hospital. I'll probably get a sloppy roast beef po' boy. Does that count as culture? I don't really know what that means. Culture. It's just like a lot of words in the English language that have multiple meanings. Culture could be something you grow in a petri dish in chemistry lab. Okay, well, it apparently can be something else. It can be societal, social. I don't know, though. I don't care about it. Dog Tired in Florence says, it was 101 degrees in Macomb one summer. We had a 300-pound crane operator that had goosebumps describing the smoked oysters he got in New Orleans. He says one instance where the trip was worth the ride. You telling me he describing smoked oysters, he literally got goosebumps. Mm-hmm. That's good stuff then. I probably know the feeling. White Denzel says, Beaver, my buddy Gene Jordan lives in Flowood. He makes the best etouffee in the metro, and he said he'd make you some and bring it up there.
Oh. Sounds good to me.
Yeah, okay. Well, it's Friday. And Beaver, I'm assuming you'll be off Monday too. We're all off on Monday, right?
Yep.
Memorial Day, so maybe Tuesday, whatever. But anyway, there you got the info. Sounds good. Etouffee, I'm not like super duper familiar with it. I am not a foodie. I'm not an expert. I'm certainly not an expert on Cajun food. I've eaten it, but what is etouffee? Like, how is it defined? What is it? You might know.
It's to use a culture word.
Okay, yeah.
I still don't know what the culture is, but it's I know a roux.
Okay.
I can't tell you. I can't act like I'm an expert in making a roux.
Uh-huh. Okay.
It's a nice roux with some crawfish over some rice and
Okay.
some sort of vegetables in there. I don't, I'm sure people put different okra and whatnot, but
Okay. It says so the actual definition, a spicy Cajun stew made with vegetables and seafood. All right. I see pictures of etouffee with shrimp in there. That looks good. It's almost like a Cajun stew, isn't it? Isn't that what it is?
I'll go with that.
We'll go with that. I'll let that ride. Dog Tire says a cross between jambalaya and gumbo. Okay. Jonathan says next time that I come to Baton Rouge, you can hook me up. Thank you. All right, listen. We're counting down football teams. We had team number 100. Let's do 99 and 98 coming up, huh? Let's do it. Y'all stick around.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Arrived today. Jeans do come true. Thank you, Blue Delta. Yeah, jeans do come true. That's what the bag says. Blue Delta Jeans makes the best fitting, most comfortable jeans in the world because they are uniquely made for you and only you. Raw denim jeans, custom fit, hand tailored in Tupelo, Mississippi, my hometown. Let's dive in and see what we have here. Do what I did. Visit BlueDeltaJeans.com. Find your fit, design a jean, and before you know it, you'll be addicted. Just for my listeners, enter discount code Matt Wyatt, all lowercase. Again, that's if you listen to me, you can use discount code Matt Wyatt, all lowercase, and at checkout, you're going to get a 10% discount off your order. So I just went online, ordered them, BlueDeltaJeans.com a couple weeks ago. Went in, I didn't go get measured. I just entered, what I knew about myself. I just answered the questions, and here they are at my doorstep a couple weeks later. Nice. Yeah, Blue Delta. Nice. I'm happy. I've known the Blue Delta team for years, and I'm thrilled to have these guys on as a sponsor of this show. Blue Delta's virtual tailor is a fun and easy way to get yourself into the best fitting pair of jeans you're ever going to own. Bet you never thought you'd get a butt shot out of me, huh? How about that? Just answer the questions and they fit absolutely perfectly. They couldn't fit better. So just go online, BlueDeltaJeans.com, answer the questions. It's amazing how they do it. They will fit perfectly. You're not going to find better material and better feeling pants, period, anywhere. BlueDeltaJeans.com. Use this code. Use the code. You're going to get a discount. They are the most comfortable jeans I've ever worn. I promise you that. And I know that you are going to love them too. Make sure you use the code. And remember, jeans do come true.
After these messages, we'll be right back. Let me tell you about an ice cream can't be beat.
The very best tasting you can eat.
It's Meadow, 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 Meadow Smooth Freeze Meadow Gold. Go to your ice cream man today, and here's the word that you should say. Oh, give me Meadow, Meadow, Meadow Smooth Freeze Meadow Gold. And remember, folks, Meadow Gold
Is mighty good.
For double enjoyment, reach for Beech Nut Peppermint Gum. It sparkles your smile, your breath, your whole sense of enjoyment. Beech Nut Peppermint in the familiar yellow pack.
6 o'clock, dinner time. Thank goodness for Jell-O Instant Pudding.
Yes, thank goodness for Jell-O Instant Pudding. The terrific busy day dessert you can make at the very last minute. See how quick and easy. Just add it to cold milk and beat it up. That's all. By the time you're ready to eat it, it's all ready for you. Jell-O Instant Pudding, made by the famous Jell-O folks. So creamy, so nourishing, so delicious. No other instant pudding is quite the same. Stock your shelves with all 7 flavors. The good busy day dessert. Jell-O Instant Pudding.
is banana pudding. It's the Matt Wyatt Show. Live in the studio. Online at thezone1059.com and on your radio at ESPN 105.9. The Zone.
Well, no lead ever seems to be truly safe against Vanderbilt. Certainly not a 2-run lead, but Ole Miss right now is getting one heck of a pitching outing from Tyler Myers. I mean, we're in the bottom of the 5th right now, and there are 2 outs, and he has held Vanderbilt scoreless through 4 2/3 right now, trying to make it 5. No runs on just 4 hits. Of the 19 batters he's faced, he's got 6 strikeouts. This kid is pitching a gem in an elimination game. 6 strikeouts, just got to fly out for the second out of the inning. And, so far so good. And, again, the 2 runs for Ole Miss in the top of the 2nd, they have not done much at the plate against Jack Leiter. Leiter's really good. Okay, he's only given up 2 hits, but Ole Miss has 2 runs in there because you got a couple of walks. One of those was to Elko. He struck out 5, but they got the 2 runs in that inning, and the other guy's matching him. Myers is matching him. Man, tell you what, I don't think anybody saw that coming. Real quick before we jump over to football, as I mentioned to you, we are right now, as of today, we are just barely inside of 100 days to the start of the SEC season around here. State will kick off on September 4th. That's 99 days from today. And then, Ole Miss kicks off the next day. Ole Miss plays on Sunday, doesn't it? It's not Monday. I think it's Sunday. And anyway, so we should have started the countdown of 100 teams in 100 days yesterday, but got it started today. So team number 100 was a bit ago, and then we'll do 99 and 98 because we got a long weekend coming up, and we'll hit 100 teams between now and September. Leading up to the start of the season. We'll continue that in just a bit. Yeah, all right. Some of the texts. We were talking about being off Monday. Squez texted the show, and he said Brooks is not off on Monday. What are you saying, Squez? He's not allowed to be? Is that what we're saying? He's not off. Now, it was Dog Tired in Florence who texted us and told us that etouffee is like a cross between jambalaya and gumbo. Jay in Baltimore, what did you send me here? Okay, there is a documentary about how to pronounce Kosciuszko, and I'm going to watch that. Thanks for the link. I'm all about it. I love Mississippi history. I love learning it. Woodrow says, Matt, do you prefer banana pudding hot or cold? Man, it better be cold. Now, I'll eat it if it's hot. But I mean, if somebody gives me hot banana pudding, I wonder about it. I got questions before I bite it. Not that I won't. I'm just saying I have questions first. Hey, why is this hot? It's been in your car? How long has it been in your car? No, it's supposed to be hot. Okay, well, in that case, is it banana pudding or is it banana cobbler? Cobbler's supposed to be hot. Is this one of those, is a hot dog a sandwich questions? Is that what this is? I want cold banana pudding. That's what I want, just to be safe. Woodrow agrees with me. He said, amen. True Maroon says, we need a documentary for some people on how to say gaucher. I am all up for ideas, looking for that next good idea for a documentary type piece. I have one filed away in my head that I have not committed to yet, and I wonder what y'all think. It is my theory that some of the best food in Mississippi, some of the best food on the planet, is being prepared and sold and bought at gas stations and filling stations across the state of Mississippi. And I think a look behind those scenes might be interesting. I just don't know about pulling it off. That's the only thing, though. I don't know about pulling it off. And what's the right time frame? True Maroon also said, if you eat hot banana pudding, I don't want to be associated with you. Well, no, I'll eat it. I mean, I'm not turning it down. I just need to clarify a few things first. That's all. Okay, let's do this. Football. We did the countdown of 100 teams in 100 days early in the show, starting with team number 100, and I feel as though I kind of want to recap that real quick. Team number 100 had this fight song I felt like might be one of the best you're going to hear this entire countdown in terms of fight songs for teams. All right, this is Wyoming. The lyrics, Beaver, you might get a kick out of this. The lyrics of the Wyoming fight song are, he always sings ragged music to his cattle as he swings back and forth in his saddle. On a horse, he's a syncopated gator. You ought to hear the meter to the roar of his repeater. The name of the song is Ragtime Cowboy Joe, and it comes from an old pop song.
He always sings raggedy music to the cattle as he swings back and forward in his saddle on a horse that is syncopated gated. There is such a funny meter to the roar of his repeater, how they run. When they hear the bells
come on.
Because the western folks all know
It's a fight song.
He's a highfalutin, rootin' tootin' son of a gun from Arizona, ragtime cowboy Joe.
Now, they changed the lyrics on that thing to be, he's a highfalutin, rootin' tootin' son of a gun from old Wyoming. And the original song said Arizona. But Ragtime Cowboy Joe, this is the Wyoming fight song. I ain't kidding.
When they hear the fellas gun because the western folks all know he's a highfalutin, rootin' tootin' son of a gun from there.
Wyoming.
Ragtime Cowboy Joe.
All right, so all I'm saying is that's team number 100, and I think the most interesting thing about team number 100 is their fight song. You ain't going to find a better one. That's just all there is to it. That's all it is to it. Okay, team number 99 from San Antonio. It's the University of Texas, San Antonio, UTSA. All right, UTSA. They are the Road Runners. I don't know if y'all knew that. They did get to play 12 games last season. I think they only had one regular season game that got straight up canceled. Yes, they get to play 12 games. There you go. Not bad. Last year, UTSA started the season 3-0 with wins over Texas State, Stephen F. Austin, and Middle Tennessee in a high-scoring game. But then they reeled off 3 losses in a row on the road at UAB, on the road at BYU, a heavily competitive game, a 27-20 win for BYU, and then they lost to Army. They beat La Tech, then picked up another loss on the road at Florida Atlantic, and the Rice game got postponed. So in November, they only played 3 ball games because SMU game got canceled. And they were all 3 wins in November. They beat UTEP 52-21. They beat Southern Miss by the hair of its chinny chin chin in Hattiesburg 23-20. And beat North Texas in a blowout to finish the season. Played Louisiana in the First Responder Bowl. And it was a heck of a game, but the Cajuns got the win 31-24. And that was UTSA's season last year. This is team number 99 on our countdown. Today is 99 days from the start of the season. So this year, they begin the season by playing a Power 5 opponent. On September the 4th, 99 days from today, UTSA will be at Illinois. Then it's back-to-back home games against Lamar and Middle Tennessee. They finish up at Memphis on September 25th. So the context there is, Memphis will host Mississippi State the week before on September 18th. turn around and host UTSA the last weekend in September. October games for UTSA, they play UNLV, Western Kentucky, Rice, and La Tech. And they host Southern Miss in November. So November games for UTSA will be UTEP on the road, and then back-to-back home games hosting Southern Miss and UAB out in San Antonio. Finish the year at North Texas. That's a look at 99. We'll see if we have time a little bit later for 98. First, though, Bernard texted the show and told me that Trey Smith, he is the son of Jacksonville Jaguars great Jimmy Smith, is the running back at Wyoming. Bernard, thanks for sending that out. I didn't know. That is really cool. We got a local connections, kind of, sort of, maybe, to the Wyoming Cowboys. I was saying earlier that the two things I think about when I think about Wyoming football, number one is Josh Allen, the quarterback of the Buffalo Bills, played there, drafted in the first round out of there. Number two, you remember when Wyoming back in the early aughts, the early 2000s, Wyoming hosted Ole Miss and beat them back when David Cutcliffe was the coach. That would have been around 03, 04, 05-ish, something like that. You have to look it up, but hard to believe that's been nearly 20 years ago, or going on it anyway. There you go. So Team 98 coming up. It's a goodie. It's a goodie. Learn a little something on each one. Why not? Okay, and I see I have some comments on the live stream. I'm going to preview those, and I'll hit you when I come back in just a bit. We'll wrap things up with you next. I'm Matt in the Bureau. Stick around.
Jay Farner here, CEO of Rocket Mortgage and Rocket Companies. Last year, we saw historically low mortgage interest rates. What you may not know is that interest rates are already starting to increase, and it's likely that trend is only going to continue. Our team of experts is standing by to help you save before rates go up. Don't look back and wish that you had taken action. Call 833-8ROCKET or visit rocketmortgage.com.
Rocket. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender licensed in all 50 states and MLSConsumerAccess.org number 3030.
Summer savings are on at Lowe's.
Farm Bureau Insurance stands ready to provide financial relief to our communities in this time of crisis. This includes a one-time credit to all personal auto policyholders, a donation of $500,000 to the Mississippi Food Network, and additional payment options for those hit the hardest, all while continuing to service customer claims as well. But this is the time to go above and beyond. These are a few ways we're keeping the Farm Bureau promise. To learn more, talk to your agent or visit us online. Go with the home team.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
We are about to have a fire and cook some sausage. A country pleasing sausage is outstanding whether you cook it over a fire or in the house. Cook some of this right here. It's green onion flavor. You see that? But this right here is my favorite, the maple flavor. And this is great for breakfast. It's awesome cooking it in the house because it makes the whole house smell good. Oh yeah. Let's eat country pleasing sausage, the best, hands down. If you go to countrypleasing.com, you can actually order this and deliver it to your house. Country pleasing sausage, hands down, the best. Trust me. Davini Equipment, Spring Ridge Road in Jackson, Highway 51 in Madison. Hey y'all, let me tell you a little bit about C-Spire. New stuff in 2021, including 5G coverage. If you go to their website right now, cspire.com, you're going to see their no bull, which, by the way, I love the Super Bowl ad with the slow motion bull. You're going to see that on the website. But look, they're right. There's been a lot of bull over the years in your wireless bill, depending on if, who you were with. And my experience with C-Spire is just like they say, there's no bull. I know what it's going to cost me each month. I know what my coverage is the number one coverage in Mississippi, period, the number one network. And they've got 5G phones that are 5G ready. Now, I have the new iPhone 12 Pro Max, got it at C-Spire, went and did curbside at my local C-Spire location and did the exchange where I traded in my old one, got the new one, and it's 5G capable. And we've got 5G coverage in parts of Mississippi, and it's just growing by the day. So you really ought to check that out, okay? And in terms of the new phones, you got deals going on those as well. Find those out at cspire.com. Cspire, customer inspired.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Jeans do come true. Blue Delta Jeans makes the best fitting, most comfortable jeans in the world because they are uniquely made for you and only you. Let's dive in and see what we have here. Do what I did. Visit BlueDeltaJeans.com. Find your fit, design a jean, and before you know it, you'll be addicted. Just for my listeners, enter discount code Matt Wyatt, all lowercase. BlueDeltaJeans.com. I just entered, what I knew about myself. I just answered the questions, and here they are. Nice. Yeah, Blue Delta. Just answered the questions, and they fit absolutely perfectly. They couldn't fit better. So just go online, BlueDeltaJeans.com, answer the questions, use this code.
So does he. It's the Matt Wyatt Show. Nobody breaks down quarterback play better than him. And he's right here, right now, online at thezone1059.com and on your radio at ESPN 105.9 The Zone.
All right, back with you, getting set to wrap up the show today, wrapping up hour 3, wrapping up the week, and it's been a fun week. Just appreciate y'all so much. I really do. The phone calls, the texts, the comments on the live stream, and the interaction, and following along, and just being a part of the show. And obviously appreciate Bill so much making it happen. Beaver's here today as Bill gets on the road to go get Jake going this afternoon over in Vicksburg, and then just whole team effort. And I was kind of the beneficiary because I got to be on the road at the SEC tournament for 3 days this week, and it didn't work out to stay and be there today, but still, it's just been, for me, I'm just saying from my perspective, I'm really appreciative of you and everyone being a part of it, because it has just been a lot of fun. Today's show's been good because you've had a little bit of everything to get into, stuff we didn't necessarily know when you woke up this morning, like Paul Maneri retiring as the baseball coach at LSU. So open up the search at LSU, see who's going to be their next coach. You also had projections from D1 Baseball and Baseball America came out this morning. So after State's embarrassing losses in the SEC tournament, before we see what's going to happen this weekend, which that means it could change those projections. But what you get today from Baseball America and D1 Baseball is that State is still in those top 8 seeds at number 8, but Southern Miss in both of those has moved into the top 16 as a host site. And so you're going to have potentially 3 host sites in the state of Mississippi, which is just outstanding if it works out that way. However, the wrench that could really turn this in a different direction is these Ole Miss Rebels who right now are leading Vanderbilt 2-0 in an elimination game. Now, Arkansas waits, and Arkansas showed you last night how good they are. But right now, Ole Miss is up 2-0. It's the top of the 7th, Ole Miss batting with that 2-0 lead. Jack Leiter has only given up those 2 runs, but they were both earned back in the second inning. He's only given up 2 hits. But still, what's happening is he's being, if you will, shown up by Tyler Myers on the mound, the right-hander, getting the start today for Ole Miss, who none of his numbers blew you away coming into this. I think it was 26 1/3 innings he had pitched this year, had a 4+ whatever ERA. This kid has gone out and thrown 6 innings against Vanderbilt, no runs, no walks, on 4 hits, has struck out 6, and is just, by the way, all 4 hits for Vanderbilt are all singles. 77 pitches, 52 strikes right now. And he is just, throwing a gem on this elimination day. And so when I say the wrench, what if, Gator Greg brought it up. He said, what if Ole Miss plays itself into the finals on Sunday on this side of the bracket, and what if over there on the other side, Florida plays itself into it? Because then you got 2 teams that right now are kind of just outside of the top 8, but either one of those gets in there to Sunday, one of them's going to win it, so it means one of them's got a great shot at popping up as a national seed, moving Mississippi State out of the top 8. If it were Ole Miss, they could move into number 8, push State back to number 9. You'd have Ole Miss and State matched up against each other in a super regional if they won them. I know it's a big if. Lots of pitches have to be thrown for that to happen, but holy cow. I mean, it is a possibility. So a lot of that as well. I tell you, man, it could be crazy. Now, this is the other thing before I get to team number 98, doing a football countdown. We're inside of 100 days to college football season around here anyway, to the SEC season, which is super exciting. And anybody as old as I am, you know how fast 90 days can go by, right? We're a month and a half from SEC Media Days, going back to Hoover for that. I wanted to read this. This is in regards to baseball and the recent documentary I published about the uneven scholarship situation in college baseball. And Vandy was featured in there a little bit. And Judd posted on Facebook, because this was brought up by a commenter earlier, that somebody had mentioned and heard about there's some like alternate college connected to Vanderbilt. It's in Nashville, but it's not technically Vanderbilt, but it sort of counts. And like some of the athletes being able to take classes there that count, even though they're not Vanderbilt classes, this kind of thing. As my dad would say, I don't understand all I know about it, but Judd posted on Facebook in the comments, he said it's called Peabody College. And he says he's the guy who made that post. Here's what Judd said. I'm a Nashville native and current resident. A neighbor that I grew up with played at Vanderbilt, so I know what his situation was by his family's admission. He says, but I've talked to other former players as well, and they've told me that they didn't know of an athlete that was not on the Peabody plan. He gave me a compliment for the Uneven documentary. He said it was fantastic. And he says that Tim Corbin has about a third of the job to do that his counterparts are facing. He simply never has to have the money discussion with families. Yeah, that's true. It's totally true. So thanks for that. Y'all see what you can find out. If you find out anything, let me know. Peabody College. And this is good. Squez texted the show. It's one of those where I've got to describe this to you on radio, and I really wish you could just see it. But I'll do my best. It's sort of my job, right, is to find the right words to either say it or describe it in a way that puts the picture in your head so that you get it and you don't have to see it to get it. That's my job. Okay, well, here it is. I'm going to give you it. He says, if Ole Miss steals our national seed, and then it's the animated GIF of Fred Sanford having the big heart attack with his hand over his heart going, this is the big one, Elizabeth. This is it. That's it. That's the way it's going to be. Uh-oh. Oh, this is the big one. He says, if Ole Miss steals our national seed. All right, team number 98 on the countdown of 100 teams in 100 days is college football. Counting it down to the first big weekend of college football season, team number 98 is... Yeah, off we go into the wild blue yonder. That would be Air Force. All right, they played a grand total of 6 games last year in the COVID-affected season at Air Force. They only had 9 scheduled. 3 of them got canceled. 2 of them got canceled. Wyoming and Colorado State. 1 of them was postponed. That was Army. They played a total of 6, had 7 scheduled. Is that how it worked? Yep. Shoot, I don't know. Regardless, they started the year off by killing Navy. 40-7 in the season opener back last year in October for Air Force, but then it went downhill quickly. Week 2, they lost at San Jose State 17-6. Week 3, they hosted top 25 Boise State in a shootout, lost by 19, 49-30. And then went 2 weeks without getting to play any football. Army got postponed. The Wyoming game got canceled. And then late November, I'm talking about late November, November 20th, Air Force played its 4th game of the year and beat New Mexico 28-0. Thanksgiving week, they're supposed to play on Thanksgiving Day, Thursday, November 26th, and Air Force's game with Colorado State got canceled. And so their final 2 games were played in December. The first weekend in December, they went to Utah State and won 35-7. They finished the year on December the 19th, just a few days before Christmas, with a loss to Army 10-7. Now, that was how it went last year. COVID-affected season for Air Force, but not a bad football team by any stretch. They just can have no continuity in their season, like a lot of teams, because of COVID. So this year, this is the schedule. And they've got a bunch of TV games. You know, Air Force plays a lot of games on FS1, FS2, CBS Sports Network, and channels like that. So in 99 days from now, Air Force will open the season by hosting Lafayette, not Louisiana Lafayette. Maybe this is Lafayette, but it's somebody else. September 4th. And then September 11th, so week 2, is when they go to Navy, who they just whipped last year by 33 points. And that'll be a 2:30 CBS kickoff in week 2 on September 11th, Air Force at Navy, if you want to watch them. 2 more games in September. They're both home games for Air Force out in Colorado, Utah State and Florida Atlantic. The month of October for Air Force, at New Mexico, host Wyoming, at Boise State, host San Diego State. They don't have back-to-back road games at any point in the first 2 months of the season. And then you get into the month of November, where they open up by hosting Army. That'll be a late night kickoff on CBS. Mid-November, they do have back-to-back road games at Colorado State, at Nevada, and then they finish the regular season by hosting UNLV on the Friday of Thanksgiving week. It'll be Air Force hosting UNLV. I got to see the Air Force campus when I was a kid. Way out west, we took a mission trip with our church out to Wyoming and put us driving through there. We had a chance to go through Colorado and see the campus and see the football stadium. And much like the setting out at BYU, with all those mountains around it and everything, it's one of the most beautiful settings for a football stadium. Those of you who've been know what I'm saying. You almost can't describe it without seeing it. It's just unbelievably picturesque. If you ever get a chance to go, I would, recommend it. Make sure you just take a camera. All right, that will wrap it up. We'll see if Ole Miss can hang on. They're up 3-0 now in the top of the 7th on Vanderbilt over in Hoover. Going to be an interesting weekend one way or the other. We'll see y'all next Tuesday, huh? See ya.
Another load of smart pills has been distributed, and I'm slap worn out. So I'll just say, so long, neighbors. Get me out of here, Percy.
Warm weather is on the way, and Live Oaks Golf